Okay. I guess let's give this another try. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the fuck happened. Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know if it's my router or if it's my OBS. Like, it's because it's not giving me like the little, you know, the little like buffer. It just goes straight to, you know, the stream being all the way off. So it makes me think that maybe it's not the internet and it's maybe OBS. I don't know. Something's going on. Apology accepted. I'm really glad to hear that. I think Twitch will keep the stream live if someone gives 5 subs. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that somewhere too. That's right. I think you're right. I think that's right. No, that sounds right. Anyways, let's get back into it. We're here. Hey, thanks again, Doodle, for the raid. Rhizome was having some awful network problems too. Really? Tofu was way too dank, so stream broke. Yeah. Sounds legit. Any primers? No. All right. Let's see. Let's get back into it. Yo, let's go. There, that's it. Yeah, there it is. There it is. That fixed it. Yep. I think we should have no problems now going forward. Thank you, Midnight Dime. Everybody thank Midnight Dime for fixing the issue. Appreciate it. The IT team coming in clutch. Midnight Dime, thank you for the 5 bomb. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 5 community gift subs. Really appreciate it. Very generous. Make sure to thank Midnight Dime if you got a gifty, but just in general for fixing the tech issues. Let's get back into where were we? Let's back it up a little bit. Okay, yeah, I remember. Okay, we were talking about the fucking dude who loves his job so much that he's willing to fucking kill protesters.
Keeping a knife.
Okay.
This is Christina Liu, an activist from the group Bay Area Palestine Solidarity.
We must stop arming Israel. There is no business as usual while Gaza is destroyed.
Real.
Lockheed Martin enables another massacre every day in pursuit of endless U.S. military expansion.
Here in New York, the Columbia University chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine say Columbia suspended 6 students with no due process, giving them just 24 hours to leave university housing before evicting them. The suspensions are part of an investigation into a Palestine solidarity event and come as part of a wider crackdown on student activism for Palestinian rights.
Let's go, baby.
Peru's Congress voted against advancing the impeachment process for President Dina Boluarte as she faces a corruption probe dubbed Rolexgate. Boluarte has
I forgot about Rolexgate. Yeah, this picture, apparently this watch right here is like fucking 15K. People are pocket watching her like, wait a second. This is a good pocket watching, though. This is good pocket watching. Pocket watching / positive.
In luxury watches and jewelry over the past 3 years, the deeply unpopular president came to power following the December 2022 ousting of Pedro Castillo from office. Since then, she's backtracked on a pledge to hold early presidential elections and oversaw a deadly crackdown on protests following Castillo's ouster. Dozens of people were killed by security forces in what Amnesty International says may constitute extrajudicial killings. Back in the United States, judges, jurors, and more than 70 current and former prison workers are calling for a halt to the scheduled execution next Tuesday of Missouri death row prisoner Brian Dorsey. One former prison officer who knew Dorsey wrote in the Kansas City Star, quote, "From my perspective, after decades in corrections, I do not hesitate to say that executing Brian Dorsey would be a pointless cruelty," he said. Dorsey was convicted of killing his cousin and her husband in 2006. His request for clemency is based on inadequate representation from court-appointed lawyers and the fact that he's turned his life around in prison while working as a barber. Missouri Governor Mike Parson could commute Dorsey's sentence to life without parole. Meanwhile, Oklahoma executed Michael Dwayne Smith.
Why does he have
Thursday.
Such a cat face?
And the first of 25 executions planned this year. This week, Oklahoma Judge Gary Lumpkin told state execution
Details could have changed, but made this? What the Yo, Tofu Goes Subathon Saturday, April 13th. 1 sub equals 2 minutes. 1,000 bits equals 5 minutes. $10 tip equals 10 minutes. Damn. Damn. Okay. Thank you. Fucking shit. All right. Is that going to be the rules? Is that what we're doing? Fuck, dude. I'm scared, dude. I've never done one. I'm scared. Be there or be square. That is a block of tofu. That is literally a block of tofu. That's true. Damn. Damn. Okay. You're a legend, Celtic. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. I gotta see like what people use, you know, to increase the timer, like whatever timer, like, I don't know, extension or widget people use. Dun, 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 dun. I'll save this though. You're a legend, Celtic.
To quote, suck it up.
Actually, it's a cube.
They requested more time between executions in order to reduce trauma on staff and the potential for errors. In New York, hundreds of housing justice advocates rallied outside the headquarters of the Real Estate Board of New York to demand it stops blocking the passage of good cause eviction legislation. Good cause eviction would protect tenants from huge rent hikes and retaliatory or discriminatory evictions. As protesters peacefully blocked the entrance of the Real Estate Board's building, police started arresting activists. New York City public advocate Jumaane Williams spoke before he, too, was arrested.
The people of the city of New York, the people of this state, deserve not to be evicted frivolously. They deserve to be able to go and say, can you please repair my home without being evicted? They deserve rent that they can afford. The rent is too damn high.
Yes, it is.
High for many years.
And Bishop Thomas Gumbleton, longtime leader in the U.S. Catholic Peace and Justice Movement, has died at the age of 94 in Detroit. He helped found Pax Christi and Bread for the World and was a war tax resistor. He was also a survivor of sexual abuse in the church who was forced to resign in 2007 after he spoke out publicly in favor of an Ohio bill to extend the statute of limitations for cases of sexual abuse by clergy. In 2013, Bishop Gumbleton spoke to Democracy Now! About his work with the Survivors Network of those abused by priests, known as SNAP.
What really opened my eyes was when a friend of mine, in fact, the person who started SNAP, came to me and asked me to intervene with the local bishop because the priest who had abused her and who had also abused other people that she was aware of was still functioning. And I said, that's impossible.
You were the Bishop of Detroit, and he was in Toledo.
Oh my God, look at
I was an auxiliary bishop in Detroit, but I was a friend of Barbara Blaine's, the founder of SNAP for decades. And when she came to me and told me this, I said, well, I'll go see the bishop and I'll talk to him. And I'm sure he's not going to continue to keep this covered up. Well, I went to see him and he assured me, I'll do something about it. I'll take care of it. So I took him at his word, but nothing ever happened. And so that made me realize that some of the, best bishops around were not dealing with this issue the way it needed to be dealt with. I mean, it just was terribly wrong to allow a priest to continue to function in a situation where he could abuse other children. And it turned out he was still abusing other people. And so
the priest was.
Yes, and the bishop was allowing this to go on.
That was Bishop Thomas Gumbleton, who passed away Thursday at the age of 94.
Rest in peace.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.
I'm Amy Goodman. She got cut off. I love how often that happens. Amy is irreplaceable. So true. Oh snap, Amy Goodman leather jacket variant. I know. That's one of my favorite fits of hers. She recycles fits often. Or maybe honestly, she doesn't any more than any normal person obviously does. Like, I recycle fits way more often. I just notice it because I watch her every day. So I'm like, oh, she's got this shirt on today. I'm like, pog. You know? She looks so good in this jacket. I love this jacket. I love when she wears this jacket. Oh, all right. Where are we going from here? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, while we still have some West Coasters awake, let's hop right into this story. All right. More sheriff deputy gangs just dropped, but this time not in LASD, this time in SBSD, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Yeah, so just normal sheriff shit. All right, deputy sheriff in Southern California arrested on weapons and gang charges. Normal cop shit. A 45-year-old deputy sheriff with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department has been arrested and charged with numerous felony counts, including weapons violations and being a member of a criminal gang, authorities announced on Thursday. The investigation into Deputy Sheriff Christopher Bingham, a resident of 29 Palms, and his association with an outlaw motorcycle gang began in January 2024, according to a SBSD news release. When the 45-year-old was spotted on March 23rd, riding his motorcycle alongside two other gang members, authorities, with assistance from the California Highway Patrol, conducted a traffic stop on the trio. During a search of Bingham's person, a loaded, unregistered firearm was located, officials said. Bingham was arrested and booked at the Smith Correctional Facility in Banning. Detectives with SBSD's Gang and Narcotics Division then executed a search warrant at the deputy's residence, where 160 firearms, including a fully automatic assault rifle, which is illegal in California, obviously, including a fully automatic assault rifle with attached grenade launcher, were discovered. What exactly do you need that for, sir? Authorities also found silencers, okay, this is huge actually right here. Authorities also found silencers, a stolen San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department shotgun, other destructive devices, and gang paraphernalia. I want to focus on this right here. A stolen Sheriff's Department shotgun. This is the number one source of illegal firearms on the street. The number one source of illegal firearms on the street come from evidence rooms, come from local police departments. This is like a widely known phenomenon. And this is nothing new. This is actually very damning. We've also seen so much other shit coming out recently about the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. I think this article actually touches on some of it. Like we talked about the cover up over the last 2 years of, I think there's something, yeah, this right here. Here, let me just read the rest of the article. Let me not get ahead of myself. After San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office filed charges of possession of a machine gun, a short-barreled rifle, a stolen firearm, police service weapon, like, remember that, silencers, and grand theft, along with participation in a criminal street gang, a warrant for the deputy's arrest was issued. Bingham was taken into custody on April 4th at around 1 p.m. He was booked at the West Valley Detention Center. His bail was set at $500,000. The arrest comes on the heels of several other high-profile incidents with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. On April 2nd, deputies shot and killed a 17-year-old boy armed with a knife who was having a mental health crisis. Less than a month before that incident, on March 9th, deputies shot and killed a 15-year-old boy with autism, whose family is now suing the department. In late March, cell phone video captured a deputy brutally beating and kneeing a suspect in the face as several other deputies held the man down. And this is what we covered recently a few days ago. Earlier this week, newly released video of a September 2022 shootout between deputies and Anthony Graziano, who had abducted his teen daughter, appears to show deputies fatally firing on the 15-year-old girl as she was attempting to surrender and escape her father. Like, huge cover-up in this story. Huge cover-up. A blatant cover-up. In a press conference earlier this week, San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dekas said on all of the incidents, along with the deputies' actions during them, are under investigation. As for Bingham, the 45-year-old 29 Palms resident who was placed on leave, and his case was referred to the district attorney. The actions of this deputy are alarming and inexcusable. He not only tarnishes his badge, does he though? But also undermines the integrity and credibility of the entire department. That part I can't help but agree with, Dekas said. Criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Anyone with information regarding Bingham's case is asked to contact blah, 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 blah. So, just classic cop shit. Classic fucking cop shit. There's that for you. Let's look at this story right here. This story is so fascinating to me. The biggest cash money heist in Los Angeles history is such a fucking baller sentence to say. We looked at this yesterday.
A professional job, and the joint was cased. In essence, persons unknown were able to gain entry through a perimeter fence, through a ceiling, and somehow walk off with $30 million in cash. But
it's news to me that oh, that's a hole right there. Oh shit. It's news to me that there's money storage facilities. Like, I thought that was like banks. You know what I mean? Like, I get that these companies pick up money from businesses and then take it to the bank or whatever for them, but I didn't realize that sometimes they had to be stored in facilities like this.
What's baffling is that's a lot of money. How does anybody gain access to a facility like this and walk off with $30 million? Well, I would certainly consider an inside job based on the fact that from everything I've read so far, I saw nothing of camera coverage being activated. The alarms weren't activated.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, how did you even know that there was a bunch of money held in there? You had some kind of information had to come from the inside, but
well, they went through a fence, exited through a wall, or entered through the ceiling, exited through a wall. Good for them. They're professionals, which obviously they are. Nobody's going to be cashing that money or spending anything, right away. I think that the industry is riding on luck. So, over the years, they've made a lot of cuts in safety and security. I'm not saying Garda World, I'm saying many of them.
I love it. It's just like budget cuts in all of these companies. It's just like companies trying to maximize their profits at the end of the year are all cutting corners. I love this, dude. I love this shit so much.
That's dangerous, not only for...
Dude, capitalism. Hello. First day. It's called capitalism. Yeah, man. This is what happens.
Money involved. It's dangerous for the safety of the people.
It was him. Yeah, plot twist.
And turning now to the deadly bridge collapse.
Plot twist, it was that guy. This whole time. The fucking perfect crime. All right, let's go now to updates from the Baltimore Bridge.
In Baltimore, President Biden toured the wreckage today by helicopter, getting an aerial view of the damage. He also met with the families of the 6 victims. He vowed that the federal government would not rest until the bridge has been rebuilt.
I'm here to say your nation has your back, and I mean it. Your nation has your back.
This comes as authorities recover the body of another victim, according to his family. Let's go to NBC News correspondent George Solis for the latest.
And Valerie, the family of Maynard Sandoval Suazo confirming to NBC News that their loved one was found today. They now have to wait a day or two for the body to be processed. According to the brother, who told me earlier this morning they were asked to come to an undisclosed location. What's unclear at this point is whether or not that body was found in a vehicle. As we learned, two of the bodies were shortly after that bridge collapse. All this comes as today I actually spoke with one of the survivors of the Francis Scott Key collapse, Julio Cervantes, who was bedridden last week. When I spoke with his wife today, answering the door, the family's still not commenting as they're still recovering from the loss of two of their loved ones on the bridge, but again, appearing in much better spirits. And all of this, of course, unfolding as President Biden was in town today, not only getting a briefing on some of the recovery efforts there at the site of where the bridge was, but also an update on how soon things may start to move with the cleanup, but also meeting with the family members, wearing that role of consoler in chief, reflecting on his own personal loss as he talked to these family members. And all of this here, Valerie, as there is a vigil and a memorial planned this weekend at this mural that sits here behind me. This is where the community has come to pay their respects to those men that lost their lives there, and the four that were identified, now 3 by our count. And again, hundreds are expected here. Again, this bridge meant so much to this community beyond just the infrastructure. This was a part of the Baltimore community. It really was a symbol of pride. And again,
I mean,
investigation into
fuck the symbol of pride, dude. Like, this is people's fucking way to work. This is directly going to have like economic impact on the people in the area. Obviously, this is, an example of like, I don't know. There's so much happening with this. Like, I don't know. Fuck the symbol of what it means. Like, people died, dude. Immigrants died. Migrant workers died. Did he say consoler in chief? What's up, Mike D? Odd how they're all Latino. I mean, listen, it's like here's a perfect example how important migrant workers are to this country.
All of this,
like, there's a lot to be said here. Not like this feels, I don't know, maybe I'm just being bitter. I'm probably just being a bitter leftist. So.
The NTSB saying a preliminary report expected in the 2 to 3 weeks, but of course the comprehensive investigation could take years. Valerie?
Okay, George Solis, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about...
Thanks for watching. Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's go now to this is such a funny thing. Like, okay, I talked all my shit about the earthquake. I talked all my shit. The East Coast, West Coast banter is over. We'll be serious now. But this is still like, what a fucking time to be a China shop owner in Brooklyn. Yeah, Violent Femme, I promise I'm done talking all my shit, okay? I'm done. Let's look at this, though. Oh, shit.
I can't imagine a worse place to be in an earthquake than a China.
Like, what? Like, wow. Like, of course I own a China shop. Like, I don't know.
Shop. So this morning I was sitting over on my iPad doing some customer service work, and I felt something or heard something, a rumbling, and I thought it was maybe a big truck going by on the street here. That was my first instinct, was a big truck. And then I thought it was something else, something much worse. And then that's when I realized, oh, this is probably an earthquake. I could feel the rumbling, hear the rumbling, and then I heard the China start to crackle a little bit.
Oh my God. Just like the sinking feeling that you feel, that feeling when you are a China shop owner in Brooklyn in an extremely rare earthquake. I'm sorry. How dare you re-terrorize the city that sustained 9/11 tofu? Fuck, you're right. I'm so sorry.
We dodged a bullet, and I feel really lucky, and I can't believe this happened in Brooklyn.
Oh my God, I'm just like, this is shit straight out of a movie.
This would have been...
Yeah, I was lucky it was only a 4.8 for sure.
Big mosaic puddle of shards, and that would have been pretty bad.
The earthquake opened my oven door, and it was the first time I saw that. What was the... Wait, what? It was the first time I saw what the inside of my oven looked like. It was horrifying. That's funny. I don't cook. The first time I felt an earthquake, I was on the toilet in my third floor apartment. I thought I was gonna ride that toilet through the crumbling building. Oh my god, dude. See, that's the thing, is like I got all my shit talking out, okay? Like I want to be like, I want to lil bro the fuck out of like New Yorkers and shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, first time, you know what I mean? That video we saw at the beginning of stream where it was like somebody pointing out like a crack in the street. I was like, they're like, that wasn't there before, and I'm like, motherfucker, you don't know what you're talking. Like, welcome to every day, like every fucking street in LA, but like also I also obviously understand how terrifying that is for people who don't normally experience that. Also, like, consider, like I said earlier, considering how fucking fucked America's infrastructure is and how fucking old it is, specifically in that part of America, like in that whole region, all of the infrastructure is way older than it is in California, right? And obviously in California, we have different codes because, like, building codes, you know, because of, you know, the fucking San Andreas fault line. So like, I also recognize that that's like very concerning for that reason. And also given that same reason that, you know, you're significantly at a higher level of risk now post 4.8 earthquake, you know what I mean? Because of the old infrastructure. A trash can got knocked over. No, but still, the hashtag we will rebuild trend was funny. I'm glad no one was hurt. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. It's the only reason I'm able to fucking clown. I'm able to clown on y'all.
15 feet apart, and one person experienced it and the other person felt nothing.
Dude, look at this. Like, this makes me feel so, oh my God. I'm just looking at this and I can only imagine how fucking scared you must be. Like, oh no, my China shop.
So it's just funny that we really did feel it here in the China shop.
Ditch the rules, keep the China? I don't know about this. I don't know about this place.
It had one toilet.
Another, this is an interesting perspective on from of the earthquake. Watch the moment the earthquake erupts in UN Security Council in New York City, dude.
It had one toilet for 600 people. Women stood in line for 3 hours to make use of it. Schools normally
this guy's like, hello?
Protection for children, a place where children can seek humanitarian services and normality. Go ahead. Education is...
Earthquake.
Is that an earthquake?
Yeah.
Well, education is...
You're making the ground shake.
You're making the ground shake.
Education is, in many ways... Madam President?
Look, it's still going, dude. They're like, what do we do?
Continue?
Should we
Education is in many ways
continue or?
But not in Gaza, where every single child is out of school and 80% of education facilities.
This guy is like, I'm gonna tweet about this shit. He's like, I gotta. He's like, I gotta tweet about this shit. I got to.
Destroyed.
Which is what I was saying. It's like it just felt so funny seeing everybody on the East Coast lighting up like on Twitter and shit the same way that Los Angeles does. Everybody wakes up, everybody stops what they're doing and goes to Twitter to just type the words earthquake. Every time. It's fucking hilarious. Let's see, how are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good. Dun, 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 dun. I'll be real too. I thought something exploded somewhere in the city. Honestly, like, I get it. I get it. We have like collective PTSD It's like the first place that I would imagine a lot of people's brains goes to, especially at the UN. It's like, oh my God. Some shit's going down right now, huh? Yeah, because that's like way more likely. Exactly. All right, let's keep it moving. We're flying right through our news coverage today, chat. We're going to do fun shit sooner rather than later. Rejoice. Rejoice. Dun, 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 dun. Actually, you know what? This is a good time to... All right, that'll be a good segue from the UN Security Council. Earthquake. To segue into our like international news. We just had this funny ass headline. This fucking funny ass headline from Reuters. Janet Yellen to China. You're making too much stuff. You gotta stop. You need to stop. Stop it. You know Americans can't stop consuming. You know it. You know we did this to ourselves. We cast the curse of consumption upon ourselves. Stop it. Stop it. You're making too much stuff. And then we'll go from there into our Israel-Palestine coverage for the day. And then I want to dive deeply into the Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake shit, because I am super fucking papela on it. I heard some, I read anyway, some transphobic bars from J. Cole today. So I was like, okay, so we got transphobic bars from J. Cole, but it's in response to like a diss. Like I haven't been keeping up. I didn't know what the fuck happened with this. So we'll look at that. We'll do a deep dive into that, and then we'll do some other stuff. Hopefully we get into some gaming as well. But before we continue on, I'm going to run a quick ad break, but don't you worry, because here at the Tofu Ghost broadcast, when I run ads, I run them while I'm away from the stream. That way, even if you're unsubscribed to the channel, you don't miss out on any of the content. But if you would like to support the stream and get access to cool Tofu Ghost emotes as well as an ad-free viewing experience, all you got to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. Or let's say you're already subscribed to the channel and you're feeling generous and you have the means to, maybe consider gifting a sub to one of our unsubbed friends in the chat that may not be able to afford a sub this month. That way they can also enjoy the Tofu Ghost emotes and an ad-free viewing experience with the rest of the community. We are currently at, what are we at? We are currently at 8 out of 25 for the daily sub goal. Thank you so much for all the support so far. I really appreciate it. If you are one of those unsubbed friends in the chat, make sure to say hi, make yourself seen. That way somebody might notice you and feel generous enough to shoot you a gifty. If you are among those of us in the chat that have the means to, please do consider supporting the stream in some way, whether that be with gift subs, biddies, or donos, whatever. That way we can continue to do this full time. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Don't you go anywhere. BRB. Okay. We're back. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for waiting. If you watched ads, thanks for watching them. Because it does help out. I appreciate it. But let's get back into it. Alright, let's see. Where were we? Ah, yes. God, this is such a silly fucking headline. I love it so much. Janet Yellen to China. You're making too much stuff. Stop making so much stuff. You need to stop.
Janet Yellen is in China with a tough message for her hosts. The US Treasury Secretary says the country is producing too much of everything, and the world can't absorb it all.
Yo, dude.
Yellen arrived in Guangzhou on Thursday.
Like, I might agree, yeah, generally, as like, internationally, as like a human race, we produce too much. We produce way more than we need. Way too much shit that is like harmful and not needed. Yes, absolutely. We absolutely have an overconsumption problem. Absolutely. But like to be like from the United States, to be Janet Yellen and to go to China and be like, yo, bro, why the fuck are y'all doing that? As if like neoliberalism hasn't set it up for that to be the case. You know what I mean? As if like Western neoliberalism hasn't set it up for that to be the case. Like, we've exported all of our fucking manufacturing to fucking China. Like, of course. And now, you know, when motherfuckers want to simp for capitalism, want to fucking shove the cock of capitalism all the way down their throat, they want to talk about how capitalism has lifted the most people out of poverty without even realizing or caring to mention that that is the case because of China. It's so fucking funny. It's just like, what a silly thing to say. Yellen to China, you're making too much stuff. Well, hello, America, you're consuming too much stuff. Like, what? Duh. No, of course they are. Because who's buying it? Like, I thought that... Oh, it's so stupid. It's so dumb.
In talks Friday with the governor of Guangdong province, she wasted no time getting to the point.
And this includes the issue of China's industrial overcapacity, which the United States and other countries are concerned can cause global spillovers.
Such bullshit. They said your economy is doing too good. You need to stop. You need to stop. Your economy is expanding and it needs to stop. Like, what the fuck, dude? Shut up. Like, I thought they were fucking communists. Like, come on, dude.
China has unleashed a...
Yeah, so the US is trying to stop Temu and Alibaba, which, like, from a strictly, like, anti-capitalist standpoint, go off. But it, like, what happens, how it actually manifests, you know, is fear-mongering and warmongering. China bad. China really bad. You should be really worried about China. China. It's so fucking ridiculous, dude.
Flood of cheap goods onto global markets.
Like, the United States dug this hole, right? Got into the hole, started burying themselves in the dirt from the hole that they dug for themselves, and then started yelling at China, why did you put me down here?
That has prices for many goods tumbling, putting pressure on producers in other countries. Yellen identified electric vehicles and solar panels as among areas of concern.
It's like, run that back. Hold on. I need you guys to hear that. This guy is so quiet. Speak up, brother.
Unleashed a flood of cheap goods onto global markets. That has prices for many goods tumbling, putting pressure on producers in other countries. Yellen identified electric vehicles and solar panels as among areas of concern.
Bro, you mean to tell me that China is doing more green capitalism and doing it better and more efficiently and on a wider scale and quicker than the United States is? Like, it's, oh my God. Oh no, they're doing that thing that we don't want them to do. This is gonna hurt our oil companies who have us by the fucking throats, by the fucking economic balls. It's, it's so fucking dumb, dude. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Neoliberalism will be the end of us all. Like straight up. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that building solar panels creates jobs? Bruh. Cheaper EVs and solar panels is a good thing overall. I mean, not when you're Janet Yellen. Not when you're like, you know, the United States, because you don't like, you want to make sure that your economy stays the biggest economy in the world. It is a threat to US hegemony for your economy to be growing so rapidly. We started buying everything from China. All of our fucking jobs went overseas, whether all over the world. So much of our manufacturing went to China. Like, and of course their economies grew. Way more people started entering the workforce in these countries. And now the United States has a consumption problem. In the United States, all it can do is consume. It's all it can do. And now Janet Yellen is like, please stop doing the thing to us that we did, that we created for ourselves. To be honest, the problem isn't cheap EVs from China. It's that Joe Manchin completely fucked up the EV tax credits. So a pretty large portion of US EVs all immediately went up $7,500 in price, while also tanking the value of used models. Literally everything got worse for everyone but Joe Manchin, as usual. Of course, but that's, yeah, of course. Of course. Which is like, you know, Janet Yellen is here yelling at China. Oh, got him. On behalf of the Joe Manchins of the world, on behalf of the coal, the coal CEOs, the oil companies, all of these American companies that stand to benefit from, the hegemony. She do be yelling, yeah. China, Marsha, yeah. Like, if she wanted to bitch at someone, she didn't have to fly to China. She could have just gone to West Virginia. Yeah.
Now she wants to convince China that.
But this is the thing. It's perfect. It's the multiple birds that we're hitting with a single stone, right? Like, China bad is the perfect catch-all for all of our problems. Period. That's why there's so much fucking, bipartisanship around this concept. China bad. It's the number one scapegoat for everything, and also a reason. It's just, it's a part of the consent that is constantly manufactured around. Like, there has to be an enemy. Right now, our enemy is China.
The excess would be in its own interest. Addressing the American Chamber of Commerce in Guangzhou, she drew parallels with a previous era of change.
China's implementation of market reforms generated one of the most significant economic success stories of our lifetimes, lifting hundreds of millions of people from poverty.
Yes, see, this is what I'm talking about. People that want to simp for and die on the hill that capitalism is good. And I love capitalism so much, while not actually being a capitalist because they don't understand how that works. We'll use this as the number one talking point for why capitalism is good. We're literally just talking about quote unquote communist China. Nowhere else. The next phrase is green power tofu. The US doesn't want to be leapfrogged, but they can't corner the market on green tech because of, yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Mm-hmm. So the win-win situation that everybody can agree on is China bad. Whether you are an EV company, you're a company making EVs, or you are a fucking oil company. Like, it, either way, the China bad sentiment works for everyone. Mm-hmm.
There's potential for significant gains from reform now as well.
China may take some convincing, however. Officials have set an ambitious growth target of around 5% for the year and are widely expected to do more stimulus measures as part of a bid to hit that figure. Yellen is meeting a series of senior figures over the coming days, including one of the country's vice premiers. She's also expected to raise concerns that China is becoming a less friendly place for foreign firms and investors.
Which is like the real concern. That's the real concern. Like, we can't invest in all of this. How come we can't get into this market? You guys are the biggest booming economy on the face of the fucking planet. We want a piece of the pie. But they also want to fearmonger around like American companies doing business in China because the Chinese government is fucking communist and they have their fucking, you know, their hands in everything, all of their businesses or whatever. It's just a fucking mess. It's a fucking mess. All right. We're almost done. I mean, we have a bit to go over here, but we're on the last subject for the night. We'll get into our Israel-Palestine coverage right now. One sec. Boom. Okay, cool. We'll start off with this, which I chose to use as our title for this stream. Tony Blinken welcomes steps to get more aid into Gaza, but says may not be enough. Insane shift in rhetoric. Tofu, we have to do it. No, you want me to fucking play slurs? It's like, you want... You want me to have Blinken 182 on the fucking up on the screen so that this man can say slurs again? Bro. You're really trying to alienate the whole Romani community from... Stop. No, dude, we can't, dude. He's a hoochie coochie man. I'm a hoochie coochie man. I'm freaking out. Run it back. Yeah, you are. Everybody knows got my black cat bone. Got my mojo too. Yeah, you do. Got the Johnny Conqueroo. Anthony Blinken has his own Spotify. What do you mean? He has music out? No! No! What? What the fuck? Lip service? He has a song called Lip Service. He has a song. Okay. Anthony Blinken from the State Department has a song called Lip Service. I'm gonna freak out. I'm having a meltdown. He has a song called Lip Service. Does nobody see the hello? Does nobody, he doesn't see the irony like in this? Like, are you what? Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on his musical alter ego Is the musical alter ego in the room with us right now? Tony? Secretary of State Antony Blinken on his musical alter ego. You could say Antony Blinken went into the family business. His father was a U.S. ambassador. His uncle was one as well. But even though he rose through the ranks of diplomacy to become the U.S. Secretary of State, he still wishes he would have rebelled and become a rock musician. Fucking cue, like, sick-ass solo. Oh well, now he just plays for people who have to pretend to enjoy it so they can avoid a war. Wait, oh, NPR, you didn't have to do him like that. Oh my God, he's already dead. Oh my God. Sagal, enough politics. That's right. Enough politics. Let's get to why you're really here, which is to talk about your music career, Secretary of State Antony Blinken. This will be a very short conversation. That's top secret. It's top secret. I'm not at liberty to reveal the details of this information. We were like, why would he want to be on the show? Because you want to talk about Blinken? Wait, is it not Blinken? It's Blinken, right? Yeah, they spelled it wrong. Which is the name under which you put out music on Spotify. And if you're listening at home and you're tired of the show, you can go to Spotify and listen to 4 tracks, I think. There are 3 tracks. But if anyone actually follows up at home, I'll have my 4th listener, which will be huge. I mean, listen. Don't sell yourself short, King. You got a whole 826 monthly listeners. What's this? Oh, we literally just had this up. Yeah, we literally just had this up. Yeah. And that's wonderful because I know you're on a government salary. Oh, poor guy. So I'm sure the Spotify income really helps. I look for that check every month. So these are songs you wrote. How could you describe your music? I'm not sure how I would describe it. Let me just say that for someone who's been passionate about music all my life, just because I happen to wind up in this job and put music on Spotify, you know, some of the most illustrious publications actually took note of it, including Rolling Stone. And I think they called it something like more or less credible dad rock. I took that as high praise. As you should, King. As you should. Oh my God. Yeah. That's right. Diplomat rock. Yeah. Oh man. Go off. Okay, well now I have to hear like... Wait, that wasn't an original that he was playing at that dinner though, that we watched, that Jano just linked and stuff, right? I gotta know what lip service sounds like. Oh, fuck yeah. Is he gonna copyright strike me? This shit has 95... This is from 5 years ago? Comments are turned off because, you know, oh, well, no, also this is a topic. Topics on YouTube don't have topic or comments.
I took a look around, nothing to see.
He put the sauce on it. Wait, he put the sauce on it. Wait. Yo, the vocal is so saucy. Wait. Oh, fuck, I fucked up. Wait, he put the sauce. Run that back. Run it back. Run it back. Run it back. Oh, also the font is so good. Let's go.
I took a look around, nothing to see, but then I finally found somebody like like me. I wanted to tell you, but I was so afraid, yeah. You said you liked me fine, but not in that way. Oh, was it such a crime to want you to
I'm dancing, chat. You see me dance?
then I came on to you, but you said let's just be friends, yeah.
Let's just be friends. Why is there so much sauce on the vocal?
Service tonight.
Why is this so saucy?
Lip service tonight.
Hey. Oh my god. The Rolling Stone saying that it's a credible dad rock is so funny, dude.
Service tonight.
Lip service tonight. Ooh, yeah. Did you hear that? Wait, did you run that back? Did you hear that?
Lip service tonight.
Watch this.
Lip service tonight. Lip service tonight.
Watch this. Right here. Oh yeah. Songs to fucking do war crimes to. Lo-fi dad rock to kill children to. Little Palestinian children to. Fucking, I can't even believe this. This font is crazy. This font is fucking insane. Takes off bra and throws it at the computer monitor. Shut up, dude. Yeah, when can we get this on vinyl? Honestly, when's the hyperpop remix, huh? Lip service tonight. Ow. I need you to remember those lyrics as we fucking watch this video, okay?
And U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai, and for the EU side, Executive Vice President.
We welcome the steps that have been announced by Israel, opening Erez as a new crossing point, having shipments go directly from the Ashdod port, maximizing the route from Jordan. These are positive developments, but the real test is results. It's also critical that we see an independent, thorough, and fully publicized investigation into the killing.
Independent, huh? Like all the other independent investigations that you, Anthony Blinken, and John Kirby, and everybody else in the State Department and at the White House keeps referring to and citing when you say that Israel has not been guilty of blocking or preventing aid from getting into Gaza or killing innocent civilians and aid workers. Like, what a fucking, it's so fucking, oh my God. It's lip service tonight.
Thorough and fully publicized investigation into the killing of the World Central Kitchen team who were performing heroic work under the most difficult circumstances in trying to get assistance to people who so desperately need it. So we're looking to see that investigation, we're looking to see a public accounting, and we're looking to see accountability. Israel's obligation, its responsibility to maximize protection for civilians, to make
like, will you actually make sure, as the lone entity that could do anything to make sure of this, would you make sure that an actually independent entity investigated the matter and was an actual independent entity was allowed into Gaza to verify the situation on the ground, to verify Israel's claims, to verify the claims of the Gazan health ministry and everything? Because Israel is the sole entity that is blocking this from happening and preventing this from happening. And they keep saying that they launched independent investigations into all of these different things, including the WCK massacre. But independent is still Israeli. It is literally investigating themselves. It's giving LAPD. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous.
That too is a critical test.
Welcome to the News Hour. Today,
all right, now we'll look at this from PBS. Israel draws international outrage after airstrike kills 7 aid workers.
Military dismissed 2 officers and reprimanded 3 more senior officers it said were responsible for the killings of 7
Yeah, they let them go. They were fired.
aid workers from World Central Kitchen earlier this week. The Monday attack has put even greater scrutiny on Israel's tactics in
Anthony Blinken donated $3. Tofu, I don't understand why you're acting so surprised. As I recall, a certain CIA agent helped me produce the track.
Oh, yeah.
Hoping we can collab again, whether it be in the studio or on a war crime or two. As a treat.
Fuck. Bro, I'm at work right now, bro. Not now, bro. I'm at the fucking day job, bro. Chill.
Under heavy
Chill, Tony. Thanks for the $3.
pressure from President Biden, Israel opened 3 aid crossings into Gaza that it had been resisting. The president also sent letters to the leaders of Egypt and Qatar asking them to push Hamas toward a hostage deal. Here's Nick Schifrin.
Israel is calling it a grave mistake. 3 precise hits on vehicles filled with aid workers who were trying to feed the hungry. Today, Israel released an unusually swift investigation blaming mistaken identification, errors in decision-making, and decisions contrary to the standard operating procedures. And the IDF fired the Brigade Fire Support Commander, a major, and the Brigade Chief of Staff, a reserve colonel. And it reprimanded more senior officers, the Brigade Commander, the Division Commander, and the Southern Command Commander. Rear Admiral...
Like, we're talking about, like, sending home people who were, like, conscripted. Like, do you seriously think that this is accountability? Do you think that we're fucking stupid? The answer to that question is yes. They think you're stupid. This guy especially, I fucking hate this guy. He fucking thinks you're stupid. They say we take full responsibility. Okay, then fucking submit to the fucking, completely to the ICJ. Start following international law immediately. Like, what are we talking about, dude? We take full responsibility. We fired them. Like, I don't give a fuck if he fired them, dog. Like, you seriously think that that's enough? Like, are you serious?
Daniel Hagari is the top IDF spokesman.
This is a tragedy. It was a terrible chain of errors, and it should never have happened.
The IDF says it tracked the
errors. 3 simultaneous strikes. If you are not familiar, we covered it in depth like a couple of streams back. You can watch the VOD. But targeted on the streets, on the route, that the IDF said you are safe to travel down. The IDF said that this is the agreed upon route for you to go, where you will not be targeted. They deliberately put the logos on the tops of their vans for this exact reason, so that the drones can see what is what. They coordinated with the IDF all of their travel throughout Gaza. The first van was targeted and they shot through the fucking logo on the top of the van. And when they fled to take their wounded and to just run to another vehicle, they were followed by drones and they were fucking hit in that vehicle. And guess what? When they left that vehicle to flee with their fucking wounded, they got to another vehicle where they were followed to, and then that one was struck. Are you gonna tell me seriously that was a complete accident? They think you're stupid.
Convoy as it left the World Central Kitchen's pier. Along the coast, the IDF says an armed gunman boarded the convoy and surveillance spotted a second gunman. Farther south, the convoy split, And that's when the IDF admits one of its commanders mistakenly assumed that Hamas gunmen remained inside the convoy.
This operational misidentification and misclassification was the result.
Like, we just the other day, was it yesterday or the day before? The day before, I believe, read that 972 Mag article about lavender. The AI machine directing Israel's bombing spree in Gaza. The Israeli army has marked tens of thousands of Gazans as suspects for assassination using an AI targeting system with little human oversight and a permissive policy for casualties. One of the programs is called Where's Daddy? That is an automatic alerting system that alerts commanders of when somebody who has been targeted by lavender has arrived home with the rest of their family, on purpose, purposefully making sure to have it alert them when they reached their home where their family was, to make sure that they could maximize casualties. They called it Where's Daddy? Like, you can't, there's no, the world is starting to understand that none of this is accidents. The international, because of this WCK incident, the international world is really starting to shift. The West is really starting to shift, which is why I'm afraid of Israel escalating with Iran, because that's a really easy way out, you know?
Internal failures.
Between 11:09 and 11:13 p.m., the IDF says it launched 3 strikes on 3 vehicles separated by more than a mile, even though they rode along the coastal road designated for humanitarian workers.
The soldiers conducted the strike without any awareness that these were in fact WCK vehicles. At the time, they were certain that they were targeting Hamas.
But the UN today and others say Israel's targeting problems run deeper. The war in Gaza has been the deadliest ever for humanitarian workers. The UN says 200 have been killed.
I'll pull it up again. It's always worth reminding. Israel has killed more aid workers in the tiny Gaza Strip than have died in all of the countries in the rest of the world combined in any of the last 30 years. All aid worker deaths since 1997. All of the dark orange is in Gaza and the West Bank, excuse me. Look at this. So if we look at this picture from 2006, right in the Red Cross logo. Yeah, yes. Time is a fucking, listen, yes. Yep. Same picture.
This is not really an exception, it's a norm.
Retired Master Sergeant Wes Bryant spent 20 years in the U.S. Air Force, where he called in airstrikes and led targeting cells.
I think that when you have an overall culture of what seems to be, callousness and indifference towards civilians.
What does Israel gain from killing aid workers? From the Euromed Human Rights Monitor, this is a study, a report released yesterday. Killing starving Palestinians, targeting aid trucks is a deliberate Israeli policy to reinforce famine in the Gaza Strip. Famine as a weapon has been used in Gaza for fucking decades. The use of starvation as a weapon has been an official political decision from the first day of the war, as declared by the Israeli Minister of Defense, and was implemented in integrated stages. It was immediately announced that they were cutting off water, electricity, and all food transports into Gaza, because one entity controls the flow of all of these things into Gaza. That entity is an occupying force, an illegally occupying force, a settler colonial state known as Israel. This is a way to kill people without shooting them. This is a way to kill people without using American-made 2,000-pound bunker-busting bombs. Yep.
Doing harm, disregard for international humanitarian law, and an over-aggressiveness, really an emotional campaign that's being waged by the IDF. The probability of these kind of targeting mistakes increases tenfold.
And we talked about how it was built in as it was announced, you know, or as it was brought into use. The Lavender AI was already known right out the fucking, you know, gate to have a 90% success rate, meaning that 10% at the very least are known to definitely be mistakes, errors, non-Hamas militants. But it's 90% success rate if you accept that the criteria that the AI is trained on for targeting is accurate and credible in the first place. So if you're, you know, if you have a half a brain, you know what I mean? You understand that, like, obviously that number is definitely higher. And then consider everything from that article that we read about people being told by their higher ups, Israeli soldiers being told by their higher ups that there wasn't enough targets inputted in a day, and they would lower the threshold that the AI uses for the criteria that the AI uses to find targets in order to generate a higher number. Like, it's this is an ethnic cleansing. This is an ethnic cleansing. This is a genocide. This has intent written all over it.
US is also pressing Israel to help alleviate what the UN calls looming famine. And after President
Which is not looming. We've covered extensive coverage. We've gone over extensive coverage of people and babies. A majority of children and babies have died from malnutrition.
Biden pressured Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in yesterday's phone call. Israel will open 3 new access points for humanitarian aid into Gaza.
Right, and it's almost like all it took was a stern phone call from Brandon, a 30-minute phone call from Brandon to open up aid corridors. But they haven't been open for some reason. For some reason, the aid corridors were closed. Who was closing them? It's almost like, one, this could have been done a long time ago, and two, despite the investigations that the U.S. did into the matter, Israel is in fact not following international humanitarian law and is in fact going against American policy even by refusing to allow in aid to regions where American weapons are also simultaneously being used.
Perez, Kerem Shalom, and the Ashdod port. Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
The real test is results.
I'm a hoochie coochie man.
That's what we're looking to see in the coming days and in the coming weeks.
Israel has blamed the UN for food shortfalls, but is accepting responsibility for this strike, hoping not to lose the support of its closest ally. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
The Israeli military has struck over 12,000 targets in the Gaza Strip since the Hamas terror attack on October 7th. Okay. All right, now let's look at this from Al Jazeera.
The Israeli military has
Israeli army says it dismissed 2 officers over aid convoy strike. Wow, they're really taking responsibility for this. I feel better about the genocide now. Let's go.
just released its report on the killing of the 7 employees of the World Central Kitchen Aid Group in Gaza on Monday. For more on this, we'll bring in our correspondent, Rory Challen, joining us from occupied East Jerusalem. So what have we learned from this, Rory?
Well, we have learned that this was, according to the Israelis, a grave mistake, and they have just put out their initial assessment into the incident, which has already been shared with the World Central Kitchen. It's also been shared with the embassies of the countries whose citizens were killed in that airstrike. And now it has just been released to the public. It's basically been de-embargoed. And what this report says, it's been carried out by the Joint Fact-Finding Assessment Mechanism of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, led by Major General Yoav Har-Even, who's a Major General in the reserves. What they've said is that this was the result of a misidentification of the target.
Whoops.
They say that they thought that there was an armed fighter on one of these aid trucks.
They know like Jose Andres said himself, the head of the World Central Kitchen, friend to Joe Brandon and a bunch of fucking very important people on the Hill. He said himself that there's no way that this was a mistake because they know everything that's happening in the Gaza Strip in real time, every moment. We're talking about tens of thousands of people have already been marked for death because they are constantly being surveilled. I always bring this up, but every time you see coverage from inside Gaza on the ground, you always hear a buzzing noise in the background because there is never not drones flying over at all times. The sound of death is always above you, constantly. Always in the back of your mind. They know everything that is moving around. The gospel AI that we covered back last year, which is crazy to say technically now, a few months ago, was meant for targeting, generating targets for buildings. But now that so much of Gaza has been laid to fucking ruin, just reduced to rubble, they're relying now on Lavender AI, which targets people, and the Where's Daddy system that alerts the targeting commanders of when these targets have reached their home where their families are also located. Jose Andres, the leader, the head of World Central Kitchen, knows this. And he said himself that this was intentional because they knew damn well who they were and what they were doing when they did it.
And then when the convoy got to the warehouse, they thought there was another armed fighter that left on the convoy from the warehouse. They say they didn't identify the trucks as being associated with the World Central Kitchen, despite the fact, as we know already from the World Central Kitchen, that they had been updating the Israeli military all the way on their mission, and supposedly the Israeli military knew exactly where they were. So this report says that the strike was a serious violation of the commands and of the military's standard operating procedures, and it shouldn't have occurred. What they're going to do about it, well, heads are rolling, basically. The military's chief of staff has decided that the brigade fire support commander, who's a major, he is going to be dismissed. The brigade's chief of staff, who is a colonel, is also going to be dismissed. And then there are going to be reprimands for the brigade support commander and the 162nd Division commander, and a reprimand for the commander of the entire Southern Command. They finish this initial report by saying the IDF will learn lessons and incorporate them into its ongoing operations. So it's an apology, it's dismissals,
I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to believe that when also we're about to cover this right here. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says it will allow temporary, quotes, temporary aid deliveries. Like, I don't know that, like, we're seeing what lip service, how's the song go? They're doing lip service. They're doing the blinken fucking hit single right now. They're telling you what you want to fucking hear. Like, it's so fucking annoying.
Endeavour not to make the same mistakes again. That is where this report takes us.
Right, and Rory, I mean, to just put things in context here, there was a lot of international pressure on Israel after this incident, was there not? And particularly, a lot of people say, because the killings involved foreign aid workers in Gaza.
Well, exactly. I mean, this seems to have been something of a watershed in this war. We have certainly seen from Israel's friends and allies around the world condemnation following this incident that perhaps they weren't willing to extend to the thousands and thousands and thousands of deaths of Palestinians that you could say might have been killed in similarly erroneous conditions or situations. But because these people were foreigners, because they came from countries like the UK, like Poland, Canada, the United States, governments that have been, in the past very friendly towards Israel, they're angry and they're annoyed, and so they are putting pressure on Israel to respond. So this response, I think, is Israel hoping that it is drawing a line under this incident. What we're not seeing in this report is that there are going to be any legal prosecutions against these people. Now, that might come in the future, but that's certainly not contained in this report. What we get is dismissals from positions and military reprimands, but that's not necessarily justice for the people, for the families and friends of those who died.
Okay, Rory, thank you for that update from occupied East Jerusalem.
All right.
Who is in Rafah?
Now it's how are we doing on time? We're doing okay on time. All right, which is, like I said, it's hard to believe any of that shit when this is also the case right here. Temporary aid deliveries. It's like, dude, temporary is not you. Everybody, even Anthony fucking War Crimes Blinken knows that that's not enough at this point. The jig is up. The cat is out of the fucking bag, dude.
Tariq, let's talk about the aid and Israel announcing that it will open the Erez crossing in northern Gaza to allow aid in. What are the reactions there to this decision?
The hoochie's out of the coochie.
Is it going to make for people in northern Gaza who are experiencing famine at the moment?
Chat. Remember what I just said? Let me turn the music all the way off. I need you to pay attention and notice that notice this, okay?
Experiencing famine at the moment.
Do you hear that noise?
Yes.
Do you hear that noise? That's a noise that you hear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in Gaza. That's the sound of zero privacy. That's the sound of you being followed everywhere you go. That's the sound of death constantly over your shoulder. If you are a military-aged male, meaning like fucking 10 years old and up, according to the fucking IDF, your ass it is very likely that you're going to get hit by one of those. And that's a reminder constantly throughout the day of that fact.
Fully. In fact, after the meeting that has been held between the members of the Israeli War Cabinet, they have totally agreed that they will again reopen areas of crossing in order to allow for further flow of humanitarian convoys to reach to the desperate part of the Gaza Strip in the northern sector of the territory. And that step is understood among Palestinians here to be as a result of the American direct pressure and the increasing level of criticism Israel has been subjected to after its multiple repeated attacks on aid seekers alongside with the humanitarian organizations that are working to facilitate the process of aid delivery to the Gaza Strip. The latest one has been conducted in the World Central Kitchen, which has completely sparked international outrage. That's why the Israeli military had been accepting the American demands in order to open areas of crossing and allow for further flow of humanitarian convoys, specifically
like casually just, you know what I mean? Like wounded people walking by, just God, man.
Humanitarian convoys, specifically after the American President Joe Biden has been calling the Israeli leadership to increase the capacity of humanitarian supplies to the Gaza Strip. But yet Palestinians are wondering about the number of humanitarian convoys that would be allowed to get into the northern parts of Gaza. But if there's going to be real and practical mechanisms to increase the capacity of these aids, Palestinians see that it's a very good step that will help to partially alleviate the aggravating humanitarian crisis there, in fact.
But even with this glimmer of hope that some aid will finally get to northern Gaza, the attacks, the airstrikes across the Strip continue. Tariq, tell us about what's been happening in the last few hours.
Yes, in fact, fully within the past few hours, the Israeli military had been focusing on using its artillery units that had been stationed in the outskirts of the Gaza Strip, bounding the eastern areas of Rafah that are adjacent to borders with Israel. They have been attacking these areas massively in the past few hours, alongside also that artillery units had been hitting the southern part of the city of Khan Yunis, and with the overnight they have been carrying out more attacks on Beit Lahia town and also in a Jabalia refugee camp that had been widely hit as a number of casualties have been reported there. But yet we have been hearing here in Rafah city more active military movement for the Israeli surveillance to drones, as it usually do not leave the sky of Rafah district on hourly basis.
Yo, Jack. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a wonderful stream. Welcome in. How was your stream? Hope it was good. Welcome in. If you've never been here before, I'm Tofu Ghost. We talk about the news in politics generally. Welcome in. Normally, I'm not a block of tofu. Normally, I'm a flesh tuber, but it be like that sometimes. And I'm in my tofu mode right now. Welcome in. Right now, we are pretty much wrapping up our getting close to wrapping up our news coverage for the day. If you're curious to see what we covered today, !watching in the chat for a link to the playlist that has all of the videos we've watched. And I'll be sharing the articles we read as we go. I just have this one here from the Washington Post that is kind of fucking garbage, and we're going to tear it apart. But yeah, hope you had a good stream. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks again, Jack.
Thank you very much for the update. That's Al Jazeera's Tariq Abouazoum reporting there live from Rafah in southern Gaza.
All right. Hey, everyone. Oh, God, Anthony Fantano here. Way-thany too dank Tano here. Hydrate time, everybody. Remember to hydrate. Maybe to drink some water. All right. Let's cap off our politics and news coverage for the day with this article that is worded all kinds of fucking weird. A good lesson in, separating the spin from the facts. This shit is weird. Let's look at it from Washington Post. Before WCK strike, aid groups had warned of peril to Gaza relief workers. Huh? Okay. Cairo, for months, aid groups in Gaza warned that the system used to coordinate their deliveries with Israel's military was broken, putting the lives of relief workers at risk. One, okay, right off the fucking bat, you might be feeling like this is kind of already trying to shift the blame somehow on the WCK. And you're fucking would be correct. You would be correct in that feeling. What the fuck is this shit? Yeah. One, aid workers generally understand the risk of what they're doing when they go into the fucking region. Of course. Okay? That doesn't fucking make this any like, what are we doing here? Then on Monday, Israeli forces killed 7 employees of the nonprofit World Central Kitchen, 6 of whom were foreign nationals, as they traveled in their convoy in central Gaza. Movements movements the organization had coordinated with Israel in advance. The strike, which Israel has said was a serious violation of its military procedures, stirred global outrage and prompted President Biden to tell Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu the United States would reassess support for Israel if it didn't take immediate steps to facilitate aid. Not a fucking single word on what that might look like, what policies might fucking change. But we are getting glimpses of that with, you know, recently, for example, this. Like recently, this here, Nancy Pelosi among 40 House Democrats demanding Biden halt weapons transfers to Israel. First, it was Chuck Schumer. Now Nancy fucking Pelosi. You know what I mean? Like, is saying halt, like, I don't know, man. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, but look at the tide. Look at the rhetoric. Look how dramatic it's shifting. You know what I mean? Which is why I keep saying I'm very worried about conflict escalating outside of Gaza. The escalation with Iran and the act of war that Israel committed against the Iranian embassy in Syria and against Syria in that case. Very worried about that. Let's continue. The strike, which Israel said was a serious violation of its military procedures, stirred global outrage and prompted President Brandon to tell Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu the United States would reassess support for Israel if it didn't take immediate steps to facilitate aid. It also highlighted that what aid workers say is a faulty process for deconflicting humanitarian operations with the Israeli military in Gaza, one that has endangered staff, is rife with mistrust, and prevents life-saving assistance from reaching starving civilians there. Like, I can't help but feel like the onus is being pushed onto the relief agencies. Over the past 6 months, humanitarian organizations, including Doctors Without Borders and the UN Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, have publicized at least 9 accounts of aid convoys or buildings coming under attack, despite their routes or coordinates being shared with Israeli authorities in advance. Nearly 200 Palestinian aid workers have been killed, according to Humanitarian Outcomes, an organization that tracks aid worker deaths. I mean, we looked at those numbers and how, you know, in the past, the more aid workers have been killed since October in Gaza than have been killed in all of the world in the last 30 years since 1997. Almost 30 years. Yeah, we covered the Lavender AI article. Was that yesterday or the day before? But there's plenty of precedent. There's plenty of examples of this exact thing happening in many instances over many years, but definitely since October 7th. Like, this is not the first time that aid workers have been killed with clear, overwhelming evidence that it was, intentional. This is not the first time. Over the past 6 months, humanitarian organizations, including Doctors Without Borders, did I already read this? And the UN Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, have publicized at least 9 accounts of aid convoys or buildings coming under attack, despite their routes or coordinates being shared with the Israeli authorities in advance. Nearly 200 Palestinian aid workers have been killed, according to Humanitarian Outcomes, an organization that tracks aid worker deaths. What's increasingly clear is that the deconfliction process is a fiction, said Ciaran Donnelly, a senior vice president at the International Rescue Committee, which operates in Gaza. It doesn't provide any guarantees of safety. From the start of the conflict, when Hamas militants attacked Israel on October 7th, Israeli officials pledged to limit aid to Gaza, cutting off power, water, fuel, and other supplies to the territory. Under U.S. pressure, Israel on October 21st began allowing aid trucks to enter southern Gaza as its military pummeled the north. But in recent months, it has severely curtailed supplies to northern Gaza. Right now, I mean, well, prior to the WCK killings, all aid had been cut off to the north. All access for UNRWA had been cut off. But in recent months, it has severely curtailed supplies to northern Gaza, where the world's leading body on food emergencies say famine could already be underway. It is already underway. We've covered. There's a lot of outlets are still being like careful with this for some fucking reason, even though it's widely documented cases of people dying due to malnutrition. Like famine is already the case. Those restrictions, plus growing insecurity, have complicated further efforts by the United Nations and others to get aid to those in need. In interviews this week with the US and UN officials, as well as former Israeli military commanders and aid agency employees, a picture emerges of a dangerous, opaque, and inefficient system for coordinating aid deliveries that, while nominally in place, has never really worked and is disconnected from the reality on the ground. So it's like, so whose problem is that? Probably the occupying force of the region, right? Probably Israel. Whose fucking fault is that? Why is it dangerous? Where is the danger coming from? Israeli strikes? Who is in charge of creating this system of coordinating with aid groups? The IDF? Israel? Like, on the humanitarian side, the process is run chiefly by a dedicated unit of the United Nations, through which UN agencies and other organizations submit the coordinates of humanitarian sites, such as offices, clinics, warehouses, and guest houses. The process for notifying Israeli forces about aid workers' movement around Gaza depends on where they intend to go, aid officials said. The United Nations shares a regularly updated map based on battlefield dynamics, and in areas where supposedly active fighting is not taking place, aid organizations are advised to share broad sketches of their travel plans in advance. But for swaths of Gaza, where fighting continues to rage between Israeli forces and Palestinian militants, a much more intricate level of coordination is required. At least a day before planned travel, organizations must submit coordinates of their start and destination points and details about vehicles, drivers, and passengers in the convoy, said Nareen Ahmed, medical director for the health nonprofit Med Global, who has been on 2 missions to Gaza this year. The United Nations then sends the information to COGAT, the branch of the Israel Defense Forces that is responsible for coordinating with aid agencies, which is supposed to share it with relevant Israeli forces and respond with a map of an approved route for the convoy. But it's here where aid organizations say they have little insight into the process and how the information they pass to COGAT, ultimately reaches ground troops, drone operators, or fighter jet pilots. That is the $1 million question, and I've been trying to figure that out for 15 years, said Scott Anderson, deputy director of UNRWA in Gaza, who has worked for the agency there on and off since 2008. It's clear there's a disconnect. Oh, so 15 years for UNRWA? You mean Hamas? Sheesh. According to retired Brigadier General Amir Avivi, a former deputy commander of the IDF's Gaza division, COGAT representatives are embedded in each brigade and charged with, quote, making sure that this coordination is on the war map. But a lack of trust between the IDF, the United Nations, and other aid. See, the thing is, the trust really is so funny, making this like a both ways thing. Where the IDF and the state of Israel are constantly attacking the credibility of the United Nations and United Nations organizations like UNRWA, obviously. Like, constantly. The distrust is really mostly coming from Israel towards international organizations like the United Nations. Like, the United Nations has to, like, in order to operate in Gaza, they have to rely on the IDF. They have to trust the IDF, even though they're like, you know, shit like this happens. But a lack of trust between the IDF and the United Nations and other aid organizations has impacted deconfliction channels, said Grisha Yakubovich, a retired Israeli colonel who was head of the COGAT. Civil Affairs Department until 2016. During past rounds of conflict in Gaza, Kogat would meet almost daily with UN officials to discuss plans for the coming 24 hours, he said. I think that now it's way more complicated, he said, citing what he said was the Israeli military's reluctance to work with UNRWA. There you go. Israeli officials have accused UNRWA of being infiltrated by Hamas, a charge the agency denies, even though they fired everybody. They fired everybody, but there's no evidence. Zero fucking evidence of that actually being true. The United Nations internal oversight body is investigating Israeli allegations that a dozen UNRWA employees participated in the Hamas attack on October 7th. In February, UNRWA said that Israeli naval gunfire directly hit one of its food convoys, and that it, quote, sends notifications about all aid convoys and coordinates all movements with Israeli authorities. Interesting. Before that, in November, sniper fire hit a Doctors Without Borders convoy traveling on a deconflicted route in northern Gaza, killing a volunteer and a relative of a staff member, the organization said, adding that, quote, all elements point to the responsibility of the Israeli army for this attack. And last month, a logistics coordinator for American Near East Refugee Aid, ANERA, was killed when Israel bombed a house when he was sheltering with his family, where he was sheltering with his family. Despite the fact that the coordinates for the property were repeatedly shared with the IDF, according to Sean Carroll, the organization's president. So it's like, yeah, whose fault is all of this? Whose responsibility is all of this? The IDF did not respond to a request for comment about the Doctors Without Borders convoy, but said in a statement that the incident involving ANERA was, quote, under review. We're looking into it. Concerning. In response to an earlier request for a comment on the UNRWA convoy, the IDF said the strike, quote, was not aimed at the convoy, adding, the incident was examined and conclusions and lessons were drawn accordingly. We really sat our genocider asses down and listened and learned. Yeah. Among the problems aid officials cite a lack of direct contact with Israel's Southern Command, which oversees Gaza, delays at checkpoints on north-south routes, and poor communications infrastructure inside the territory. We're all trying to figure out, find the guy who did this. That's right. Yeah. Aid workers aren't allowed to take radio equipment in. Instead, they've been forced to rely on satellite phones during their forays through Gaza, which don't always work. We've been asking for direct contact with the IDF and for the communications equipment for months, and it's only now since the incident Monday we are starting to see traction, said Jamie McGoldrick, UN humanitarian coordinator for the Palestinian territories. Some aid organizations, including World Central Kitchen, coordinate with Israeli authorities bilaterally rather than through the UN system, McGoldrick said. In an op-ed in the New York Times, WCK founder Jose Andres said his organization has, quote, communicated extensively with Israeli military and civilian officials in the course of its work in Israel and Gaza during the war. Ahead of Monday's attack, the team had coordinated with Israeli military officials and had clearance to drive the coastal route, WCK said. Israel's probe of the WCK attack found that operators of the unmanned aerial vehicle tracking the convoy were not made aware of its coordination plan. Fucking whatever. The airstrike targets were confirmed only by seeing an armed man, which the IDF said was an insufficient standard, which is so funny given all we know and all of the evidence showing many examples of unarmed people being fucking obliterated by fucking drones. Obliterated. The current war is much more intense and complex than previous rounds of fighting, said Avivi. We have to remember that because Hamas is fighting across hospital, schools, garbage, fucking garbage. Hospital, schools, and UN sites, Hamas doesn't wear a uniform. Hamas drives civilian cars. It's very hard to distinguish between terrorist and civilian, he said. However, these ones had logos on the top of their vehicles. You clearly aimed for the fucking logo that said World Central Kitchen on it while they were on the route that you told them was where they could drive. It's so ridiculous. It's such insane amounts of cap. so much for their military being the safest in the world or whatever trope they peddle. I mean, the most moral military, the lone, democracy in the Middle East, blah, 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 blah. An IDF, excuse me. An IDF official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive security issues said the rules of engagement and targeting during the war are unchanged from previous conflicts, and that units in the field have no more authority than in the past to greenlight airstrikes on their own. But according to Emily Tripp, director of the civilian casualty watchdog group Air Wars, the IDF's tolerance for civilian casualties appears considerably higher than in past campaigns in Gaza and than the level accepted by other militaries in recent conflicts. I mean, the coverage, this goes into that in depth, and we went into it. Obviously, we covered this article. Goes over the ratios that are allowed, the militant or the militant to civilian ratio allowed, militant death to civilian death ratio allowed, and the militant commander or leader death to civilian death ratio allowed. We it's widely documented that it's pretty fucking dramatic. At least 33,000 people have been killed in Gaza, more like over 35, but at least 33K have been killed in Gaza since the conflict began, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, which does not distinguish between civilians and combatants. Well, look no further than Netanyahu himself. This came out a few days ago. According to Netanyahu himself, there are about 26,000 deaths, which is obviously way low. But according to his own numbers, his own math, half of them have been Palestinian fighters. At a ratio of 1 to 1.5 civilians for every combatant. So according to Bibi Netanyahu's own numbers, more than half are civilians. That is an insanely abysmal ratio. Insane. Israel says 13,000 of the dead are militants. Okay, there you go. Israel says 13,000 of the dead are militants, and Gaza health officials say 70% of the casualties are women and children. Israel has repeatedly attacked hospitals and used massive bombs to level high-rise apartment blocks. The WCK attack touched a nerve in Washington, where Biden, who considers Jose Andres, the chef, who is the leader, the director of WCK, a friend, released, and that's what we talked about a lot yesterday. I think that is definitely a huge part of this, because there's a lot of people understandably saying now a couple, an American Canadian citizen gets killed and now everybody suddenly cares. You have to also consider, obviously that's fucked up. 35,000 people dead later, and now suddenly everybody wants to be wait a second, maybe we should stop giving them weapons. Consider that, this is definitely a part of it too. Jose Andres is a friend of Joe Biden, and a lot of Brandon administration staffers love dining at his restaurants in Washington, D.C. They all hang out with each other. They all have dinners at their restaurants and shit with all their fucking, their buddies on the Hill. It's now become personal for a lot of people, liberals and shit on the Hill. And it sucks that that's what it takes. But yeah, man, this is significant. This is extremely significant. The WCK attack touched a nerve in Washington, where Biden, who considers Andres a friend, released a pointed statement Tuesday and noted that one of the aid workers killed, Jacob Flickinger, 33, was American. Their deaths are a tragedy, Brandon said of the WCK workers on Tuesday, calling for a, quote, swift public investigation that would bring accountability. Yeah, okay. Israel needs to independently, swiftly and publicly and independently investigate themselves and let us know how that goes. Even more tragically, this is not a standalone incident, Brandon said, which is true. This conflict has been one of the worst in recent memory in terms of how many aid workers have been killed. The situation has prompted exasperation in the Pentagon, considering WCK standing as a force for good and its professionalism and familiarity in handling such missions, a senior defense official said, speaking on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the issue. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on Tuesday pledged to open a, quote, joint situation room for coordination between the IDF Southern Command and international organizations and to, quote, support distribution mechanisms by allocating appropriate resources, according to a statement from his office. We have had conversations in the last 36 hours about what we need and why, and we've had some more reception on those issues, McGoldrick, the UN aid coordinator, said Wednesday. We are hoping now, as we take stock, we can prevent something happening again. On Thursday, Israel announced measures to ramp up the provision of aid in Gaza, including the opening of a new border crossing. Two officers were removed from their positions following the WCK attack, the IDF said Friday, and 3 other officers are being formally reprimanded, including the head of Southern Command. The family of Australian aid worker Lalzaoumi Francom, a WCK employee who was killed in Monday's strikes, called this week for Israel to be investigated for war crimes. Desperately, attacks on humanitarian workers form part of South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice in The Hague, which is also, a clear violation of the ruling that went down in the ICJ recently. All of this, huge violation. And, I know the ICJ, I know South Africa, I know, the world is taking note. What's up, Dusty? But such legal processes can take years. In a statement Friday responding to the results of Israel's probe, WCK said the disciplinary actions represented, quote, important steps forward. But without systemic change, there will be more military failures, more apologies, and more grieving families, it added, calling for an independent investigation. Oh, man. Doom and darkness. What is this?
Le truc, normalement, comment ça fonctionne? Normalement, je te mettrais genre ici, là, puis je passerais, puis je dis, hey, comment ça va? Oui, c'est vraiment le fun, là, puis là, tu
What? Is that actually Justin Trudeau? This is a real skit? Bruh. That actually happened? He was a drama teacher? Of course he was. Because of course he was a drama teacher. Fucking French, dude. Baguette. Madge baguette. Actually, I think we'll also read this before we continue on and do some fun stuff, because that's only 2. I think we'll also read this. But first, chat, before we continue on and then read this Rolling Stone article about Nancy's Pelosi's, and we're gonna do gaming in a little bit. But first, we gotta run an ad break because it's been an hour since our last ad break. But don't you worry, because here at the Tofu Ghost broadcast, when I run ads, I run them while I'm away from the stream. That way, even if you're unsubscribed to the channel, you don't miss out on any of the content. But if you'd like to support the stream and get access to cool Tofu Ghost emotes as well as an ad-free viewing experience, all you gotta do is subscribe for $5 or for free with the Switch Prime. Or let's say you're already subscribed to the channel and you're feeling generous and you have the means to. Maybe consider gifting a sub to one of our unsubbed friends in the chat like Ian and Harvenius and Dat Lydia that may not be able to afford a sub this month. That way they can also enjoy the Tofu Ghost emotes and an ad-free viewing experience with the rest of the community. We are currently at... What are we at? We're at 8 out of 25 for the daily sub goal. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the stream, please do consider supporting the stream in some way, whether that be with gift subs, biddies, or donos. That way we can continue to do this full time. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Don't you go anywhere, BRB.
BDKFHASDLFASD.
All right, we're back. We are back. Yo, good night, Dat Lydia. Thanks for hanging. See you next time. Okay. Let's knock out one last article. Let's take a look at Nancy's Pelosi's. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And then we'll do some other stuff. Lamau, what? You heard me. You heard me. That's right. Oh, also, Harvinius, thank you so much for 7 months. Let's go. W. Thank you, Harvinius. Very generous. Very cool. Thank you for the support. Okay. Nancy's Pelosi's. Let's look at this from Rolling Stone. Nancy Pelosi among 40 House Democrats demanding Brandon halt weapons transfers to Israel. This is a big deal. Like, this is a big deal. This is a huge shift in rhetoric. From fucking demon and warhawk Nancy Pelosi. Like, this is huge. We have Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi just saying this. This is officially signaling to the rest of the party that this is the rhetoric that they're to take on. Like, straight up. While it is, like I always say, still rhetoric at this point, it is proof that the pressure is working. In a letter to the president, the lawmakers expressed their outrage regarding the recent Israeli airstrike, which killed seven World Central Kitchen aid workers. I mean, don't rule out that, like, she probably knows Jose Andres too. She probably loves dining at his restaurants and taking her donors, you know what I mean, to lavish dinners. Like, you know. What's up, Zarian? I think they are genuinely afraid Netanyahu is going to cause a wider war, and they fucking should be. They very much should be. A very valid fear, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Following the killing of 7 World Central Kitchen workers by an Israeli airstrike while delivering food to Gaza earlier this week, House Democrats wrote a letter on Friday to U.S. President Joseph Brandon and Secretary of State Tony War Crimes Hoochie Coochie Man Blinken, urging them to halt the transfer of weapons to Israel until a full investigation into the airstrike was completed. Now, will that investigation be conducted independently, quote unquote, independently by Israel? Will Israel independently investigate itself? You know, we'll find out, I guess. The letter, spearheaded by Representatives Mark Pocan, Jim McGovern, and Jan Schakowsky, was signed by 40 lawmakers, including Nancy Pelosi's and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. In light of this incident, we strongly urge you to reconsider your recent decision to authorize the transfer of a new arms package to Israel and to withhold this and any future offensive arms transfers until a full investigation into the airstrike is completed, wrote the representatives. If this strike is found to have violated U.S. or international law, spoiler alert, it does, we urge you to continue withholding these transfers until the responsible are held accountable. We also urge you to withhold these transfers if Israel fails to sufficiently mitigate harm to innocent civilians in Gaza, including aid workers, and if it fails to facilitate or arbitrarily denies or restricts the transport of aid and delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza, which, like, you know, we just went over this. They may have dismissed officers and, you know, whatever, and said, our bad, we take full responsibility. But they also did say that they're only going to be allowing temporary aid. Remember this one right here? Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says it will allow, quote, temporary aid deliveries. Temporary. Like, it's just lip service. Like fucking Anthony Blinken said. It's just PR. That's all it is. Oh, my God. In a statement to Rolling Stone, a spokesperson for Pelosi said she is, quote, sympathetic to some of the thoughts in the letter, and she feels very strongly that there must be a comprehensive independent investigation into the horrific killing of the World Central Kitchen heroes. I mean, I really think someone like Nancy Pelosi, she just knows that it's election season. You know what I mean? She knows that this is not a good look for the Brandon administration, that this is, like, the uncommitted movement is very serious, and that it actually threatens the Democrats. I think she realizes that smartly, as she should. You know, adding, Speaker Pelosi knows President Brandon's support for Israel and empathy with the innocent civilians in Gaza. Speaker Pelosi knows President Biden's support for Israel and empathy with the innocent civilians in Gaza, and she respects his judgment in how to proceed. Okay, I thought that. I read it wrong. The letter also addressed reports that an estimated 32,000... Okay, the numbers... Okay, there are definitely the upwards of 35,000, but whatever. I guess who's counting, I guess. 35,000 people have been killed in Gaza since October 7th, and that the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification Initiative recently warned that widespread famine is imminent, also a thing that we need to stop saying is currently happening and has been happening, and expected to occur anytime between now and the next month if there is not an immediate cessation of hostilities. Well, yeah. In light of the recent strike against aid workers and the ever-worsening humanitarian crisis, we believe it is unjustifiable to approve these weapons transfers. We again strongly urge you to withhold any offensive weapons transfers until the investigation into the airstrike is concluded. And if it is found this airstrike violated U.S. or international law, like I said, which it does, those responsible are held accountable, the lawmakers emphasized. And we again urge you to ensure that any future military assistance to Israel, including already authorized transfers, which there has been over 100 different arms deals approved by the Brandon administration since October 7th. But this one, the $18 billion one with the F-15s, that's the only one that has met the threshold that required Congress oversight, congressional oversight. All of them were just conveniently just under the threshold required to trigger congressional oversight, meaning there is no oversight. The Brandon administration could just be like, yes, we are doing this, and it doesn't matter if anybody disagrees. It doesn't matter if you democratically elected a representative who is supposed to represent you and your beliefs and your needs or whatever. Doesn't matter. You sent them to the Hill to fucking represent you, but they have no power. They have zero power. Where did I stop reading this? And we again urge you to ensure that any future military assistance to Israel, including already authorized transfers, is subject to conditions to ensure it is used in compliance with U.S. and international law. While earlier this week, Brandon warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that, quote, U.S. policy with respect to Gaza will be determined by our assessment of Israel's immediate actions regarding U.S. demands for Israel to take concrete steps to address the humanitarian crisis in the besieged region. His administration has been criticized for not supporting his condemnation of the killings with actionable policy. Wow. You don't say, to say the fucking least, man. Where's the policy? What is the policy? What is it? There will be a policy change. Okay, well, what does that look like? What does a change in policy look like? Hello? Anyone? Anybody want to give us the answer to the very obvious fucking question? What the fuck? What the fuck? All right, that's it, chat. Rejoice, we made it through the news and politics. Now we can just chill. Now we can just chill and vibe out. I want to learn about what the fuck is this beef is. So this is 2 weeks old. So I have this to go back and get some context. Excuse me. Kendrick dissed Drake and J. Cole, which I didn't know that. So we're going to look at that. And then we're going to look at J. Cole responding and being fucking weird. And then we'll just do other fun shit. There's also this, we watched the other Anthony Fantano x Emily Hopkins video on Fantano's channel yesterday, and we'll look at this one from Emily's channel as well. Let's do it.
Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well, and it's time for everyone's favorite segment on this channel, Drama Friday. Have you guys heard of this Kendrick Lamar guy? Turns out he's a rapper, and he's got some stuff to say. Real up-and-coming guy, just landed a feature on this big project from Metro Boomin and Future that came out recently. Kind of a secret feature, though, as it's not formally listed on the track list, but it turns up on the track like that, and it turns out this Kendrick fellow has some choice words for his contemporaries. No joke, though. Kendrick Lamar, handily one of the greatest rappers of the modern era, and interestingly enough, yes, he landed on this new Future and Metro Boomin project, and he's taking a hyper-aggressive stance on this new verse he has released on it. It's a kind of wild and unprovoked stance for Kendrick to take, but it does remind me of a moment where he was acting similarly in the past, years ago, on the infamous Control verse. If you guys remember, back in the day, Kendrick just threw down a laundry list of artists who he was essentially gunning for, seeking to outflank, be it through numbers or artistry, and it was easily one of the most talked about verses of that year, of the 2010s generally. But what's interesting about that time is that Kendrick and all the artists he mentioned in that legendary verse, while they were obviously putting out good work, their most classic stuff, they were still kind of small in comparison with a lot of the greater artists who made names for themselves and kind of paved the way for this new generation in the 90s and the 2000s. Now, with Kendrick taking very similar shots on this new verse here,
he's not going to play the track. He never does, for DMCA reasons.
In this verse are the biggest and greatest names that modern day hip hop has to offer. So the stakes with these mentions at this point are a lot higher. And let's talk about the context here, because before we get into the meat of Kendrick's verse, let's get into the song he is making reference to in these bars. That is Drake's First Person Shooter featuring J. Cole, a song off of his latest record, For All the Dogs, on which him and J. Cole, two artists that
very mid in my opinion,
most people don't necessarily see as having that much in common, as Drake's music is more moody, more pop and R&B centric, a little more flashy. By comparison, J. Cole's stuff is more introspective, is headier, is deeper, more woke, some might say. And these two on this track bridge a pretty major stylistic divide among a lot of hip-hop music these days to make a relentless, exciting, hard-hitting, lyrical banger that I think fans of each artist could enjoy, in fact, did enjoy. Even I liked the track. I thought it was one of the best songs on Drake's new LP. But there's an interesting mention of Kendrick Lamar by Cole in the midst of the song, where Cole mentions him and Drake being essentially the top artists in the game right now, and he brings up Kendrick too, thinking a depiction of hip-hop's best and brightest right now wouldn't be complete without his name in the mix. And again, I think this bar and this track was kind of a unifying moment for a lot of fans of the genre, but Kendrick's response here is not a positive one. He is not with the togetherness.
Yeah, we're getting into that part, New York, where I'm just need to get caught up on all the context, you know?
He kind of sets things up in this verse, saying that he's feeling paranoia, that he is dealing with bipolar tendencies that cause him to choose violence. And then he goes on.
Yeah, Will Smokes. That's what I was saying at the beginning of stream. It's like, I don't even know what all of this is, but like out of the three, I'm inclined to believe that Kendrick is the most, like, is probably the one to trust in the matter. you know what I mean? Like, out of all of them.
And to do so in this verse, saying fuck sneak dissin' first person shooter, mentioning the song by name. I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like fuck rap, diss Melly Mel if I had to. Kendrick is literally at a position of such aggressive desperation. He's looking to prove that, and he's willing to diss even one of the greats, one of the forebearers of the genre, Melly Mel. Got 2 T's with me, I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos, it's up. Lost too many soldiers not to play it safe. If you walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. And then he goes on to say, motherfuck the big 3, it's just big me. So Kendrick does not see this, J. Cole, Drake, Lamar trio thing at all. He is pushing it away. He is not just rejecting the olive branch. He's like hitting it with a hedge clipper and just snipping it apart. We are not on the same team. There is a divide between us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Your best work is a light pack. Damn. He's calling Cole and Drake mid. Get the mid off the streets. And I can't say I entirely disagree. I mean, my reviews of these 3 artists work, respectively, reflects that. You know, I never have given Drake or Cole a 10 out of 10. Look, just to be clear, I like Drake. I like a lot of his music. I think he's come out with some good projects over the years. I like a lot of J. Cole's stuff even more. I think in recent years, he's gotten especially good, much more consistent, and has found a way to kind of, you know, weed a lot of those weaker bars out of his writing.
I agree with that. Like, I always thought J. Cole was way overrated. I think he's gotten better over time. We're like, finally, maybe in the past few years, I've heard songs where like, okay, that's like, you know, that's pretty, you know, that's a good song. Like, he's barring up here. But I've always thought J. Cole was super fucking, like, it was just corny. I don't know. I just always thought it was corny. It just never really felt like, I don't know.
With that being said, I don't know if either of them really ever will.
I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but I just never really fucked with it. It's not that good.
To Pimp a Butterfly or Good Kid, Mad City type potential, or even the potential to hit us with the kinds of ultra conceptual narrative experiments that Kendrick was delivering on Damn or on Mr. Morale. Like, there's not, nor will there ever be, an Auntie Diaries or a We Cry Together in Drake. I would apply this criticism to Cole as well. And when
I agree, Minty, that the collab, the Dreamville collab records are better than anything because they like all go hard and there's like a bunch of good beats. Like I agree. There's like some really good like production, and so it's just like generally hard because everybody's just like trying to go hard, you know. Whereas like his songs that he just writes for the sake of writing songs, I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I always just thought it was overrated. That's me personally.
I don't mean to say like, you know, both of them have to make songs.
Like everybody wants to talk about the one where he's like the you know, his classic record being him sitting on, what's it called? Something Lane. He's sitting on the top of the fucking roof or whatever. In the artwork, that record is so mid to me, especially how like knowing how highly people speak about it. When I listen to it, I'm just like, okay.
Like that. What I mean to say is like they're not dropping tracks that are creating entirely new
that one
for hip hop. While it's true nothing is entirely original, and songs that have two perspectives and points of view and arguing going on is nothing entirely new. Kendrick is just innovating and risk taking in a way that Cole and Drake just aren't. And the era in which you could argue Drake was more of an innovator toward the start of the 2010s, that's long gone at this point.
Oh man, I think it's working now. Now I can see chat. For some reason, everything is going crazy. I don't know what's going on. Can y'all hear me? Did the stream end? Because it doesn't say that it ended for me, but also we dropped like 100 viewers. Yeah, it went blue. Says 2:30. Huh. Yeah, the timer hasn't reset for me either. Interesting. Same VOD. Huh. I don't know what's going on there. That's really weird. Anyway, fucking annoying as fuck. 3 hard Fs today. It's very fucking frustrating. Very fucking frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. Where were we? Didn't fully end? Okay, yeah. Doesn't seem like it did either, but on my end either, but we did drop 100 viewers, which is weird. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, Blinken, fucking, I'm getting DDoSed by J. Cole and Anthony Blinken.
Losing his popularity, losing out on any money, attention, whatever. So the light pack line, then Prince...
Okay, let's run this back.
That nothing entirely new. Kendrick is just innovating and risk-taking in a way that Cole and Drake just aren't. And the era in which you could argue Drake was more of an innovator toward the start of the 2010s,
sure,
that's long gone at this point.
Way gone,
and he's
but
just
absolutely
been resting in the same creative comfort zone for years at this point because he knows he can do that with little to no repercussions in terms of losing his fame, losing his popularity, losing out on any money, attention, whatever. So the light pack line.
I love his sweater. This sweater is so awesome.
Prince outlived Mike Jack, which damn is a cold bar. Not only because you're literally talking about how long both of them lived on this planet, but obviously Kendrick is getting a bit conceptual here and making a comparison. You're pop, you're mainstream, you're lowest common denominator, you are agreeable. Me, I'm Prince. I'm the experimenter. I'm the innovator. I'm the one who's daring. I am the mold that other people are copying. I'm the one who's ahead of the curve, which I mean, arguably Kendrick very much is. If I was to sort of put him in a category based on the Michael Jackson Prince dichotomy, he is Prince. Personally speaking, I fuck more with Prince. I'm more of a Prince guy. But
Absolutely.
For many of you, that should be no surprise.
Prince was better than Michael Jackson. What a fucking movie, or what a video title. I love it.
The dogs with some great wordplay. But yeah, that's the verse. Those are the shots, man. Kendrick Lamar is not pulling any punches. And again, I guess not happy to be mentioned by Drake and Cole, even in a positive way. And even if all of them are at a point where everybody's kind of like, you know, getting along and everything, he's really stepping in here and reminding people of the competitive nature of the genre that they're operating in. And really, what's the cause for the celebration if we're all like putting out mid, which is kind of more his words than mine. But there you guys have it. That is your installment for Drama Friday. Let me know what you guys think of this verse.
That's Kendrick dissing Drake and J. Cole. Okay, now let's go to this video.
Jason Herbert Coleman II Jr. responded.
Wait, is that his actual name?
Jason Herbert Coleman II Jr. responded to Kendrick Lamar in the form of a brand new track, the closing track on a surprise release.
I listened to it one time and I didn't listen to it with headphones or on good speakers. So that's also to be considered. You know, because a lot of music, like, you need to listen to it a few times before you like, if you like, you know, whatever. But I listened to it once and immediately I was like, this beat sucks. This beat sucks ass.
From Cole, a project titled Might Delete Later. Before I get into the lines, right off the bat, I'm going to say, instrumentally, this track is weak as hell.
Boom! I fucking see that shit sucks ass.
Sauce on this beat. Why is Cole...
The beat fucking sucks, dog. Like, you couldn't choose a better beat. Like especially knowing that you're gonna go in. Like, I think it's one of those, they do the thing where they switch the beat you know, like the beat like completely has a complete, you know, there's a beat change up. Essentially, like the beat completely changes at a certain point. And the second beat that plays is definitely harder, but it's still like so mid. And the first beat is super trash.
Firing back at Kendrick with this pew 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 like synth trap beat. This does not sound hard, convincing, and even Cole's vocal delivery off the bat in the song is half-hearted and underwhelming. He clearly didn't want to do this, which will be further illustrated by the bars on the track Let's Go. Light work like it's PWC. Cole is telling us this is going to be easy. It's a cold world, keep the heat under your seat. It's not a J. Cole song unless he's doing some kind of cold world pun. We've heard it a million times. It is not clever. It was never
but also him talking about guns is really weird when he's like supposed to be able to bar up. Like, you're one of the top 3, right? You don't need to talk about guns, you just bar up. Like, what do you like, is that what you have to resort to when you're talking, like when you're like that's the target of your diss is like other rap greats, like contemporaries?
Whatever appeal it had has lost its luster over the decade you've been using it. And this is the chorus, by the way. I got a phone call. They say that somebody dissing. You want some attention. It come with extensions. My dog likes say the word. He on some bullshit. He itching. I mean, the rhyme scheme is not bad, but it's a very wordy chorus. And when you actually listen to it in the context of the song, it's utterly forgettable on impact.
Drake is whipping his Ghost Riders right now. It's a 300.
The appeal of this track being catchy. He's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons.
That's not a good bar, bro. What do you mean? Still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons? Simpsons is iconic. Simpsons is timeless. Like, even if people don't really watch The Simpsons very much now, it's still a part of our fucking the greater like culture. 100%. It's ingrained permanently in our culture. Like, even if it's not popular to watch, you know, new episodes of The Simpsons, Bart Simpson, Homer Simpson, these things are a part of us now.
Not only does this simile,
the bar just doesn't hit. It's just not a good bar.
Not hit hard at all, but isn't this like a really weird admission? Even in its fallen off state, The Simpsons is a massively popular,
dude, I'm fucking stand aside, Fantano.
Influential show that still to this
day, that's what I'm saying, dude.
Is the archetype for every other animated sitcom comedy style show on television. And I predict a similar thing with Kendrick Lamar. Even if 10, 20 years from now, he's coming out with records that aren't as good as Good Kid, Mad City, because of those classic influential moments in his back catalog. People are probably still going to listen to his new stuff, even me. Your first shit was classic, your last shit was tragic. Good Kid, Mad City, classic. Mr. Morale, tragic. How? It was one of Kendrick's boldest, most experimental, most adventurous albums yet. Your second shit put dudes to sleep, but they gassed it. T-Pab! Being boring is like the core criticism you could make of most of J. Cole's catalog.
This is how I've always felt about J. Cole, and I've always felt like, what's the meme? Like this. So stupid. I'm so dumb. I've always felt like this whenever I said it. That J. Cole is fucking mid. Like, it's boring. Like, y'all just have such a small frame of reference when it comes to music and rap music specifically, that fucking that you're just like, oh no, dude, like he actually, you know, he has like substance behind his bars. Like, no, he actually bars up. Like, it's, you know, he's like it's real hip hop. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you just don't know enough other hip hop where like you're holding up J. Cole on this pedestal that I honestly don't think he really deserves if you really consider the totality of rap. You know what I mean? But like, no, you're considering the top fucking 40 artists. Like, yes, okay, it's Drake, fucking Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole. Like, okay. But yeah, he's extremely boring. It's so boring. If you like J. Cole, you'll love Hamilton. Wait, oh shit. Don't tell Celticness. Celticness loves Hamilton. Oh man. Yeah, it's just so boring. It's so boring. It's so boring.
So in a way, this line is kind of projection. Your third shit was massive and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind and I just now hit mine. Okay, now I'm at the front of the line, comfortable lead. How ironic, soon as I got it, now he wants something with me. Well, he caught me at the perfect time, jump up and see. Well, in Kendrick's defense, whether I vibe with this as a stance or a general attitude from him or not, he has a history of being like, you know, kind of aggressive with some of his
Smoking on your top 5 tonight. Yeah, I'm smoking on your what's his name tonight, bruh. Fuck off, dude. This is rap. I don't know.
Just like kind of throwing shots out there as a challenge. I don't know if he's simply doing this just because you've gotten to a certain level of popularity.
Like, hasn't everybody, like Drake does that all the time. Top 5, but I'm not, or I'm top 2, but I'm not 2. Like, fucking whatever the fuck. Like, there's so many like, everybody says this. Dude, that's rap. That's the ego of like battle rap. Like, you know, I fucking, you know, I'm cool and you're fucking not. I'm good at this. You suck at this. I get bitches. You don't. Like, dude.
Boy, I got here off bars, not no controversy. Really? I mean, while Kendrick has had these moments where he has been polarizing and has like stirred the pot, I don't know. I think it's pretty safe to assume that like the core appeal of Kendrick is...
I don't think even mentioning M is worth it because Eminem is the corniest rapper of all fucking time. Just period. Y'all know my fucking take on Eminem. I'll never forgive Eminem for the rappers that he spawned. I'll never forgive him for that. Ever, 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 ever.
Albums and the artistry that goes into them. Sure, while this recent Metro Boomin diss was very much discussed, and obviously fans remember the Control verse, it's really Good Kid, Mad City, it's T-Pab, it's Damn, it's those classic records that stand tall in his catalog and remain his most popular, most discussed material, not just the disses. Further down, he says that Kendrick averages one hard verse every 30 months, and that if he wasn't dissing, then we wouldn't be discussing him. Which, I don't know if Cole has gone on hip-hop Twitter at all lately, but even when Kendrick has not dropped, people are talking about Kendrick, and even when that dude farts or posts a random picture to his burner Finsta account,
this shit shuts down. Oh fuck, what's going on? Kendrick's doing something.
Chorus, and then we go into verse 2, which has a beat switch into a Conductor Williams instrumental,
which is a producer I like, and it's not a bad beat. It's not a bad beat, but it's like, yeah, way better beat. It's still though the whole thing together is very mid.
Than the beat the song kicks off with. Like, if Cole was going to give us a diss track or a response track, it should have been with this instrumental off the bat. However, when we go deeper into the second verse here, the tone is changed a little bit. A lot of Cole's references to the diss are like, I don't want to respond, I'm a guy of peace, but if I have to, I will, I'll get violent. I mean, he does say your arms might be too short to box with the god. Kendrick Lamar. Famously short king. 5'6". Criteria is criteria. But yeah, he goes on also about my text flooded with the hunger for a toxic reply. I'm hesitant. I love my brother, but I'm not going to lie. I'm powered up for real. That shit would feel like swatting a fly. Okay, so what is Cole saying here? That like this response isn't actually the diss? This isn't him like really coming at Kendrick in the way that he could if he wanted to? I mean, maybe that's true, but it just kind of feels like cope. Because if you could go harder and if you really could like snuff Kendrick out lyrically, I would think that even like the little tastes here that you gave us or the shots that you put out there preliminarily would be a bit stronger and would amount more to like, your last album was tragic and your second album was boring. And what is this Eminem ass bar over here? Fly petals at your dome.
Yes, strays, Eminem strays deserved.
Temple Pilots. Now I gotta
run that back.
Your last album was tragic and your second album was boring. And what is this Eminem ass bar over here? Fly pebbles at your dome. We the Stone Temple Pilots. Now I gotta imagine J. Cole vibing to STP in his 90s rock mix.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Here on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, dude. Who's hearing that and be like, oh, was that a Stone Temple Pilots bar? Yo, that's deep. That's a deep cut, bro.
Look, it's a
Bro,
cute
that's
bit of
exactly what I
wordplay. I would
need.
laugh at it probably in another context or see it as cute, but this is like not tone of a diss type writing. This is just a little silly and goofy. This is a warning shot telling you guys to back down. Watch out. There are more Stone Temple Pilots bars where this came from. I mean, he might throw out a Push or a Vaseline reference. Your career's Cobained as I've reached Nirvana. Watch what I do. The audience applause while I fight this foo. Switching sides like the tassel on the cap and gown. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done here. This is a weak diss. Clearly, J. Cole did not want to do this, and yet he did it anyway. I mean, I sort of get it. The hip hop fandom is toxic in such a way that if J. Cole did kind of come out and was serious and was real about how he actually felt about this and was just like, I don't want to do this, guys. I think it's kind of lame. I'm obviously not really with.
I don't agree. I think he wanted to. Like, why? Otherwise, why you could just not? Like, you know what I mean? You could just make your money and make your music and just like not do that, right? Like, remember the whole thing with oh my god, why am I blanking on her name? Oh, he like tried. He like responded to fuck. Why am I blanking on her name? No Name. Yes, King Birth. Thank you. Yeah, and like said like you need to like check yourself because you're turning people off because you think you're so smart or whatever the fuck. Like, dude, he's just cringe. He has a history of being very cringe like that.
Like this. That was literally the point of the line to begin with that Kendrick is responding to in an unnecessarily aggressive way. Like, that would be valid. That would be real. That would be true. That would be so fucking down to earth and honestly just reality. But if J. Cole did that, if he actually said that in response, like just kind of put it out there boldly and plainly, all the fans would clown him and just be like, oh, you're lame, you fucking pussy, which honestly sucks. So it's important to point out, even if Kendrick is kind of ahead here and is winning in this back and forth in terms of lyricism, stance, attitude, like obviously he's appealing to the crowd more, people are kind of favoring him a bit more in this beef. Yeah, that may be true, but in no way has J. Cole asked for this. At least that's how it looks from an outsider's perspective. And while this response does kind of blow, it's not really a shot against J. Cole's artistry or credibility, because I think what the problem ultimately is here is that his heart really wasn't into a response like this. And that's why it's not good. It's not because he doesn't have the talent. It's not because he doesn't have the artistry or the capability. I think he does, but he just doesn't care and he's not interested, and this isn't what he wants to do with his career. And again, even if this track
why would he do it then? I don't know. That seems weird to me.
Very much is. I can sympathize with that. Let me know what you guys think over here next to my head.
I think he needs to. I mean, like, especially the ego that you might have as like the top five, like, or top three, the big three. Like, yeah, I don't know. Let me pull up something here. He didn't mention this. Fuck, where'd it go? Fuck it, this works. This. I'm seeing hints of a trans fella in cancel culture's vicinity. He's no killer. Trust me, beneath his chosen identity, there is still a pussy, period. What? Like, you thought you were cooking with that, really? Like, you really thought you were cooking? Who let him cook? Can we compromise? If Cole deletes this part of might delete later, he can keep the rest up. Like, who let him cook? That's crazy. What? Dude, that's not that, come on. I guess the reason why I didn't bring it up because it's a different song, but still. Amazing stuff, dude. Really nailed it. Nailed it with that one, buddy. Nailed it. Absolutely fucking nailed it. All right. Let's watch this one. We watched Anthony Fantano's video from their collaboration, but now let's look at Emily Hopkins' video. They did a different one.
You may have noticed that it's kind of been a while since I actually reviewed a piece of gear here on the channel. I know we feature a lot of cool stuff, but I just kind of get the feeling that things are getting a little bit stale lately. So I wanted to bring in a professional reviewer to kind of try to bring some life back into this channel.
Let's get critical.
Did he really just spit on the ground?
Total review overhaul. No more of whatever we were doing before.
You don't watch my channel, do you?
Why would you review things you make music with? You could just review music.
It's like this stuff helps you make
Dude, there's
music.
so many pedals in that fucking closet. It just makes me like, oh, fuck, dude. I want to... Please, can I have... Like, you have two. Like, can I... Can I have some?
So you're gonna help me review the stuff that makes the music. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna review music.
I'd let Fantano spit on my ground? Hey, yo. Wait, also, if Ben Shapiro wrote rap, wait, you know we don't have to... Wait, have you seen this? Wait, you know we don't have to imagine, right? No. No. Much better than that. Oh, no, it's much better. God, I hate this kind of music. Fuck, dude, this sucks so much.
They can't cancel my message because I'm the biggest independent rapper in the whole freaking world. Claim that I'm racist, yeah, alright. I'm not ashamed because I'm white. If every Caucasian's a bigot, I guess every Muslim's a terrorist. Every liberal is right. I don't want to talk to folks who don't get it. Go woke, go broke, no hope, it's pathetic. Pro-choice, pronouns, pro-love, you're progressive. But you ain't pro-gun, no one to protect it. Where the American flags at? Remember when people would hang those?
You're Canadian.
Taken down, they all been
Isn't he Canadian? Fuck you.
BLM flags are a rainbow. This ain't rap, this ain't money, cars and clothes. We ain't selling drugs, we ain't gonna overdose. We ain't pushing guns, ain't promoting stripper poles. We won't turn your sons into thugs or your daughters into hoes. I don't care if I offend you.
He doesn't care if he offends you, chat. He doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. All right, never mind the fact that he wrote a whole song about how much he doesn't care about you, okay? He really wants you to hear the song about how much he doesn't care about you, okay? Are you convinced? You should be. He really doesn't. He doesn't care if he upsets you, please, but let me know in the comments below if I did upset you. I don't care what you think, but please let me know if I offend you. That would make me feel so good and validated. I'm always waking up too, right? Before I head to the studio, I'm like, oh man, I've got to go fucking make some fucking hits in the fucking stew, right? All right, well, but I wake up and I do my affirmations and I'd ask myself, look at myself in the mirror and I say, what would Ben Shapiro do? Right? Let's look at pronouns joke. Dude, pronouns jokes are extremely unique. Wait, I have never heard anyone ever make a pronouns joke before. This might be the first pronouns joke ever made, ever in the history of anti-woke stuff, generally, period.
If you want my pronouns, I'm the man who don't respect.
Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat.
Let's go.
Epic, don't be a wap. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Look at the graphs, look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You go into prison, I'm on television. Dogs, no one knows who you are. Keep hating
No one knows who you are.
on the internet. My comment section all woke Karens. And I make racks off compound interest. Y'all live with your parents. Nikki, take some notes. I just did this for fun. All my people download this. Let's get a billboard #1.
This ain't rap, this ain't money, cars and clothes. We ain't selling drugs.
Like this idea of like, yeah, you know, we're not like the rest of, you know, we're different. You know, we don't do the clothes and the money and the cars and the drugs and the guns. Well, maybe the guns, but we don't do that. All right, we're better. You know what I'm saying? We're moral. We're righteous. This is actual good music because we're not gangsters and thugs. That's right. With promiscuous lifestyle. He's literally got Louis glasses on also, which is great. We won't turn your sons into thugs or your daughters into hoes. Yeah, because, you know why. You know why. Right? You know why. Fucking loser.
Am I giving you a review? Okay, I mean,
That T-pose is like a...
yeah, it's really consistent. It's well thought out.
Okay.
Until we get to the Grimace Crocs. Once we hit the Grimace Crocs,
Wait, they're Grimace Crocs? I thought they were just purple. That's fire.
we're just off the rails.
Oh my god.
Tell me what you think about this.
You offended me, Tofu. Well, I don't care if I offend you. That's right.
What's this doing? This is just to choose your own adventure. Tell me a story. Guide me through the process. You know?
Give me that back.
This is a little wooden box.
Yeah.
We're going full Sesame Street on the pedal. Okay, this is derivative.
Okay, that is so cute. That is such a cute pedal. Wait, it's so ridiculous. It's a little bathtub with pocket.
Okay, this is
That's so cute. What is it? What kind of a pedal is it?
But is it good?
What's your rating system?
Also, real quick,
But is it good?
I love that, like, fuck, God damn it.
Sesame Street.
There's all this cool stuff, like cool pedals and effects,
Okay, this is
fucking whatever modules, and then you got Advil. The most important thing.
What's your rating system? Do you have a number, a letter, a nothing?
No. What do
a color?
What do you do?
You don't watch my channel. I see through this.
This is awkward. Wait, what the fuck is this? For that shitty sound. Yo, the producer that did that whole Ben Shapiro, Tom McDonald track mixed the whole track down, you know, in the mixing process, right? They mixed the whole track down through one of these. And then they fucking sent it to the label and they said, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's a hit. That's the one.
I've seen a lot of we're shit. We're gonna
good to have you, New York.
Before you even say it, I know that game. You can't trick me with that. It's got a smell to it too.
Oh my god, what is that, dude? It literally is a poo poo. It's a big poo poo. It says it. Is it like? Is it a distortion? Is it like? Is it a fuzz? Like, I don't know. Like, what is it? Is it an overdrive? Like, what is it? It's definitely not a reverb. Like, what would you, like, what kind, what does it do? Oh. It's a poo-poo. Look at this. What an image.
Does have a smell,
but not a shit smell. Can you clarify that?
not a shit smell, but a smell nonetheless.
We've been reviewing pedals based on how they look, but now I kind of want to start reviewing them based on how they sound. So, do you play anything, or do you want to like play the harp? How is this gonna work?
I dabble a little bit.
When you press down,
it's a fuzz pedal. Oh my god, it is a fuzz pedal. I knew it had to be a fuzz or if oh my god, what is this? What is this like? Ew. It's got a fly. It's got a fly on it. It's got oh, and its eyes light up. Oh, the one and only original turd fuzz by Dr. Noah. Oh, you know we need
This is a wonderful stinky stomp box for electric guitar. It is called the Turd. That's right. If I'm lying, I'm dying for that shitty sound. It is a smelly collaboration.
Stop.
Between Doc and this guy, Pedro.
And
Sorry.
this guy.
Hard to read and talk at the same time. I'll quit talking. Let's get her out of the box. It's like a flaming bag that you know.
No way. They literally put it like in a brown bag. That's fucking good.
Somebody's porch as a lad, lit on fire and ran away. And look at it, folks.
Oh, it's like bouncy? Did you see that? He literally bounced it around. Watch. Bong, bong, bong.
It is.
Wait, did it just make a poo-poo noise?
Literally a turd. Yes, speechless. It's got a little bug.
Speechless.
And of course, we'll use the white coily cable of Smellies and Tellies. That's
Smellies
right.
No, Smellies and Tellies, bro.
Marshall. Yeah, Marshall, why not? We'll set it up kind of clean and straight and dry and see exactly what this
It's just a dookie on the carpet.
juicy.
I'm sorry, this is so fascinating. Yeah. 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 That's what I'm talking about. Listen, that's a good fuzz, dude. That's a fuzz. That's a fuzz pedal, bro. I'm just like imagining like putting this on your pedal board with like a bunch of other pedals, like it not fitting properly because it's so you know, right? Yo, Chloe, thank you so much. Thank you.
Months, that's like 5 years.
That's like 7 or 6 years. If my math is mathing, it's like at least 17 years. Yo, Chloe, thank you so much. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for the 20 months. Thank you. Welcome in. Look at this poo-poo. That's how you No! My next question. Yes, dude, and the eyes light up, dude. Oh, this is so great. This is so good. Oh, that's just amazing. It's fantastic.
It just cuts your signal.
You're starting off slow.
What am I supposed to do with
Like
this?
tremolo.
Like I'm gonna get on this and go.
Wait, what happened?
That's your signal.
How's this gonna work?
I dabble a little bit.
So this one,
Oh, it's a fucking Morse code. Oh.
press down on the telegraph. It just cuts your signal.
You're starting off slow.
What am I supposed to do with
Like
this?
tremolo.
Like I'm gonna get on this and go. Am I playing an instrument or am I communicating to Alexander Graham Bell?
Yes.
Okay, when you play it, it does seem dumb.
It's just a novelty. It's just a novelty. There's the novelty.
It's a manual tremolo.
Yeah.
In a way.
It actually does seem really dumb now. I really like this pedal.
There's things like this in the music world, where you as like a music nerd or a music critic, you're really crazy about something. But then the moment you bring that into a context, or maybe like you have to get a regular person to listen to it, they're just like, what is this bullshit? Sometimes you just want a challenge.
Yeah.
You just want to make things harder.
I guess this is bad.
I could give it like a light 5.
Wow.
A light 5.
Okay.
The Brigade. This is the Brigade. Can I get a pick? What? You got a pick? Like a...
Oh, I thought you said like a picture.
There.
Oh, you want a photo right now?
I feel like you're having fun with
Yeah, you like this.
No, I am. I mean, it's not like the most mind-blowing chorus I've ever heard, but it's a good, solid chorus. Sometimes it's hard to find a chorus that you can get a nice, milky little bass tone out of. So this is not too bad.
Did you say milky?
Yeah, it's got like kind of a liquid kind of sound to it, but it's not like a super clear, splashy, crisp kind of liquid. It's like there's something opaque about it.
Okay, this is why
You know?
you're the reviewer. Because
Yeah.
I would never use the term milky.
It's not vegan.
Oh yeah,
it's not
you're
a
vegan. You can't use milky as a term.
So you're not really qualified to talk about
You're not
milk.
qualified to call it milky. You don't know what milk is.
I could give it strong 6 to a light 7.
Okay.
It's solid, respectable little chorus pedal.
Light 7, wow.
Well, you guys over here, you just review nerd pedals all day that do, oh, is it quirky? Is it doing a quirky, silly thing? Oh, it's the best pedal I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it is just a quirky
Greatest
shit.
pedal I've ever seen. It does a quirky little thing. What's wrong with meat and potatoes? I know I don't eat meat, but still.
You don't even know what meat is. It's vegan.
Yeah, you don't even know what that is. I know I don't. Earthquaker Devices makes a lot of really cool shit.
Musician pedal. I want the pedal to play all the notes for me. You're just phoning it in at that point. I feel like you could make one sound with it and then sample it and then maybe incorporate it in some way. But like live performing with, like doing a whole Arpanoid performance, it's tough to imagine. I'm feeling like this one's like a 4. This one's like a light to decent 4.
What? Shouldn't it be like a 1 or a 2?
It's cute. It's got some neat. Okay, maybe a 3.
No, don't change your. No.
I probably wouldn't put something like that on your pedal board, like unless you had like a very specific part for one song. You know what I mean? Like where you use it. I'd probably just use that in the studio a lot to like make cool sounds.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna do a 3. It's a 3.
Are you familiar with Hatsune Miku?
Vocaloid artist, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Classic Hatsune Miku.
Yeah. Is this just gonna make my bass sound like her?
Why don't you find out?
Make my bass sound like her?
Why don't you find out?
Is that latency from this or from the pedal?
It's from the pedal.
So it's that much of a delay?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's doing a lot. Yeah, that's like, this is not something that you would use also probably in a live scenario. And I mean, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, you're on Pa, the worst setting, of course.
Of course, that's the worst setting. There's one called scat.
That's.
Well, there you go.
It's not the worst thing. Right?
Just slow down. You're talking too fast.
7100.
No, wait. I'm not catching what you're saying. What is it? I like it. It's very fun. It's generating incredible sounds. It's very entertaining. But like, again, the latency just makes it like not functional. But you could do some crazy stuff with it. And then...
I would probably use that. I could see myself like running something out of a mix, out of the box to that to get like more, I don't know, sounds. Like I would like, okay, there's a bass line or like a melody. There's like a lead that is cool and fun. And I think we could bury in some Hatsune Miku vocals in the background. You could just like send that lead out to this and just like, I don't know, run it parallel and get some interesting sounds. I mean, like there's just like, I don't know, it's just silly.
Save it and edit it down into something. I could see myself using that in something. I like the way that kind of bends. I could see it getting stale. I could give this like a strong 6. It's cute.
Okay, that's what
It's got some personality to it, but not high functionality.
All right, I won't make you feel bad then for how long you played it.
Oh, the mood pedals are a fucking instant winner. Instant winner.
Ambulance is coming to save this video.
I have one as well.
Oh, yeah.
We put that on.
Okay, that's not part of it.
Here we go.
Ooh. Just reverb. Music science has gone too far. Gotta go back to tightening string in different shapes of wood. We got that too. Good Morbid, Marcus. Hope you're doing well.
This has got to be
That's
like
nice.
over $1,000.
Is half of $1,000 close to $1,000?
Considering like the wood finish and how crisp and nice it sounds, like I thought it would be more. It sounds like the kind of reverb and vibrato that you get out of like a rack piece of gear.
Yeah.
You know,
A rack.
it's like not the typical.
Rack. Yo, Cro-Magnetron, thank you for the 5 bomb. Thank you. If you got a gifty from Cro-Magnetron, make sure to thank them. That's very kind. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Sort of expectations that you have of like a pedal.
Woo.
Okay, I like this one a lot.
It's giving fucking the intro to Southtown by POD.
A lot. Positive review here.
Yeah.
Let's do.
It's giving fucking dystopia fucking
Do an 8.
vibes.
Wow,
Let's do an 8.
Okay, so
8
you
out
have
of 10.
fancier taste. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're shitting on me for liking the weird stuff.
Thank
and
you
I
again,
can do stuff,
Cro-Magnetron.
but you pick, one of the more expensive ones that you
Right.
like to give an 8 to.
Yeah.
That is based on a rack unit reverb.
Yeah, so you nailed
So
it, yeah.
you have a very great ear.
I was right.
That's why he runs a channel.
Right.
So
All right. So what did we learn today?
That was
I
right.
learned that
He
Anthony's
does have a
kinda
good
too
ear.
soft on his reviews. I don't think this is gonna work out, unfortunately, because you're just too soft, you know?
I didn't want this gig anyway.
Dude, she called you fucking pussy, bro. Bro, she just called you a pussy.
I don't need this.
Yeah, go back to reviewing music.
Yeah, you fucking bitch.
You know, I think you should leave.
I should leave?
Yeah, I think I should leave. I think I should leave.
You should leave.
I should leave.
You should definitely leave. Yeah.
I have music to review. I'm gonna go do that. We'll see if any of your music gets a review now.
I hope that you
Okay.
never review a single piece of music I make. You know that? That's so fucking
Yeah, review these nuts
That's so mean, I can't say it.
in your mouth.
Here, you know what? Wait, take your pedal that you liked. Why don't you just take this as well?
oh,
Take your
this-
little brigade.
Okay.
Take your little, what is it, Light 7?
Take your little fucking stomp box, okay?
Light 7? You just get out of here.
I'm gonna give it a little kissy, and then I'm gonna kiss this goodbye. This channel's over. This channel's gone.
That's
It's
crazy.
done. This is a rough operation. Okay.
That's crazy.
He's probably right. It probably is dead.
And cut. And cut. Exclamation point watching in the chat. We'll get you a link to the playlist that contains all the videos that we've watched this evening. Oh, man. Chat, we've had like 3 hard Fs today. That shit is so fucking obnoxious. Really fucking grinding my gears. Really grinding my gears. I don't appreciate that, Twitch and or OBS. I don't really know what caused it. I don't really know what caused it, but it's very fucking frustrating. And it's very annoying. And God, I need a fucking PC. God, I need a new PC. This shit is out of hand. That shit was very frustrating, and I'm kind of, because of that, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of feeling like calling it a little bit early tonight, chat. I hate to say it, but we covered a good amount of news. We did a lot. Like I said, exclamation point watching in the chat for a link to the playlist if you're looking for any of the things that we covered. Also in the VOD, I link all of the articles we read as we go. So if you watch the VOD, you should be able to get the articles that way. Yeah, when giving an F is not Pog, right? Twitch.tv, the perfect website. Yeah, this never happens. It never happens. Twitch, dude, Twitch. 100% perfect angel all of the time. This is so unlike you, Twitch. Oh, man. But I hope you enjoyed your stay, chat. I hope you enjoyed the stream because I enjoyed your company. If you enjoyed this stream, if you have the means to, any last minute gifters, mod check, pausers, we didn't quite hit the sub goal today. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed your stay. We're gonna take this party elsewhere. Let's see. We're gonna take this party elsewhere. Oh, also, I don't normally stream on the weekends, but you should join the Discord and follow all my socials to get notified if we do a secret stream. Maybe we'll do a music stream. Maybe we'll do a... Yo, Marcus, thank you so much. No Left Flank Vets raid? Well, Left Flank Vets is in the chat, blessing us. If you got a gifty from Left Flank Vets, you better thank them. You better say good morning. You better say thank you. That's very, very generous. Thank you so much, Marcus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoyed my lyric? I'm glad. Thanks for lurking. I hope to see you all again, possibly this weekend. Like I said, join the Discord, join, follow the fucking socials to get word whether or not we're gonna do like a secret weekend stream. Either way, I will definitely see you Monday for more news, more politics, comfy reacts, gaming. You know the vibes. Let's see, who are we rating? Oh, Blood Glow's affiliate anniversary. Oh, bet. That's easy. All right, chat. We're gonna go wish Blood Glow a happy affiliate anniversary. We're gonna spam some emotes. We're gonna spam these emotes. We're gonna spam some good vibes over there, like you be spreading around in this chat. Thanks for being a part of this community. See you guys later. Much love. Yeah. See you guys later. Remember to drink some water, stay hydrated, take your meds, take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Don't be a dick, but also don't be a pussy. See you guys later. Much love, everyone.
Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me and myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belong. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone.
We're a team, you see. You don't believe me, do you? You've just crossed over into what you decided to. You are Caesar.
How are you guys?
Tell them, Caesar.
Watching Twilight.
Tell them